Pakistan is still taking military action against the Haqqani network. That's not to say that Pakistan isn't doing so. Rather, Secretary Ash Carter simply does not seem to intend to certify it one way or another anytime soon, and because of that, the Pentagon can get away with just not paying the money they owe to Pakistan. Pentagon officials did, however, praise the significance of the sacrifices that the Pakistani military has undertaken to help the U.S. war effort. However, that appreciation appears to fall well short of actually reimbursing them as promised. For nearly 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. They also take Bitcoin for precious metal purchases and have permanently removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports the mayor of Stockton, California was arrested Thursday for playing strip poker with minors and giving them alcohol at a youth camp, according to police. Anthony Silva, 42, was arrested at the camp and charged with one felony count of making an illegal recording and one misdemeanor count of providing alcohol to a minor, cruelty to a child by endangering their health, and contributing to the delinquency of a minor. Silva, who was released Thursday afternoon on $20,000 bail, denied the accusations. Amador County District Attorney Todd Reeby said the incidents occurred August 7, 2015 at the Silver Lake Camp. The camp hosts about 75 children between the ages of 5 and 17, where Silva has often hired minors to work as counselors, according to court documents. Federal agents confiscated Silva's cell phone and laptop last fall and found 23 photos and 4 video clips taken at the camp between August 3rd and August 9th of last year. One of the video clips, where the phone was put down and recorded only audio, contains a conversation between participants involved in a strip poker game that occurred in Silva's bedroom, according to the district attorney's news release. The conversation between the participants indicated they were naked, one of the participants a 16-year-old male. The game allegedly included Silva, the 16-year-old male, an 18-year-old female, a 19-year-old female, and 2 19-year-old males. In 2115 New England, there are no borders, no states, and no regulations, yet never has a more peaceful and prosperous place existed. But Mr. Drake's security company has seen better days. Faced with the prospect of waning power, Mr. Drake intends to replace the anarchy of New England with a government. But at what cost? Will anybody care? And can anyone stop him? Anarchy in New England by Joe Jarvis is available from Amazon.com and all major bookstores. Reuters reports a U.S. appeals court issued an order on Thursday denying North Carolina's motion to stay the court's decision last week, striking down the state's voter ID law. The Fourth U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals said staying its own ruling would only undermine the integrity and efficiency of the upcoming election. On Friday of last week, the court ruled that the North Carolina law, which required voters to show photo identification when casting ballots, intentionally discriminated against African American residents. Attorneys for the state, in a written motion earlier this week, asked the court to put its ruling on hold while the state appeals to the U.S. Supreme Court and seeks to overturn the decision ahead of the U.S. presidential election in November. The decision by the U.S. Appeals Court also canceled provisions of the law that scaled back early voting in the potential swing state, prevented residents from registering and voting on the same day, and eliminated the ability of voters to vote outside their assigned precinct. The order noted that North Carolina officials already said they could conduct early voting at Board of Election offices for each county in line with the ruling. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
Saying that he was giving his coworkers at Marley Publishing just a few more days to catch on to him, local mentally unstable man Michael Redding told reporters he planned on exhibiting 1 or 2 more warning signs this week before, quote, finally doing this.
I think I'll do just a couple of disconcerting things in front of people here at the office. Maybe give them a day or 2 to take action through the appropriate channels. But if that doesn't happen, then I'm going through with it.
The fully unhinged Redding, who plans on, quote, making this thing happen sometime next week, claims that despite displaying erratic and worrisome behavior around the office for the past few months, his actions have gone completely unreported by his coworkers.
I definitely talked about my frustration with life in general, and I even discussed my fascination with all sorts of violence. But that still didn't throw up any red flags. We'll see if anyone catches on.
Mike? I don't know him super well, but he's nice enough. He's quiet and he keeps to himself mostly, but I'm sure he'll come out of his shell. Just a matter of time.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live. You're invited to join us on the radio waves here. Toll-free number 855-450-FREE. Skype username LRN.FM. With you in studio, you've got Ian.
And Darryl.
Coming up later tonight, we are going to be joined by Rick Naya. He's one of the organizers of Hempfest, the New Hampshire Hempfest, which we've been promoting that we're going to be attending and broadcasting from on these airwaves here. So it'll actually be good to get, the details from the horse's mouth, so to speak, from one of the people who's intimately involved with the planning of that event.
And Hempfest coming up in 3 weeks.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Starting on the 25th of this month, going through the 28th. We'll tell you more about that later on in the show tonight. But there's some pretty outrageous news in the world. We'll talk about stuff from D.C., maybe the Philippines, Venezuela. There's all kinds of interesting insanity going on out there. Of course, you're welcome to join us and bring up whatever's on your mind at 855-450-FREE. The folks over at LouRockwell.com have a scathing critique of the Gary Johnson, Bill Weld appearance on the second CNN town hall event that they just apparently had this week. Not two
Wednesday.
in 1 week, but the first one was a few weeks ago, and then there was another one on Wednesday this week. So maybe we'll get into that here in a moment. But actually, Darryl, you and I both had the same story, and usually the way we do things here is we'll both come to the table right before the show and kind of figure out what we think's interesting to talk about, and we both happen to have the same story independently of
Yes.
one another. And that is this story about the lawsuit that was filed against the Commission on Presidential Debates, I believe,
Yes.
by presidential candidate Gary Johnson and presumed Green Party candidate Jill Stein.
Yes.
This is something you've talked about on the show previously, Darryl, and did you have a prediction in advance as to how this was going to go?
I had a couple of predictions, and the one that I had sort of the largest percentage chance of happening is exactly what happened, where the court wound up throwing it out.
Right.
The other thoughts that I had was the court will just wait until after the election to wind up issuing a ruling, and then it doesn't matter. Or
At least for the next several years.
right. Or the court will, wind up miraculously ruling in favor of Johnson, and then the Commission on Presidential Debate says, okay, we'll include any candidate from a party that has members in Congress, which would basically then do the same thing of saying only Republicans and Democrats.
So the idea here, for those who don't know, is the Commission on Presidential Debates, a private organization,
Yes.
mind you, has certain rules that they've come up with. They came up with after Ross Perot really just, knocked him dead, so to speak, in the 1992 presidential race. He did very, very well because he was able to get into the debates.
Yes.
And I believe it was done by, was it the Daughters of American Veterans or Women
Nope.
League of Women Voters?
The League of Women Voters last hosted debates in 1984.
Oh, okay.
In 1987, when the Commission on Presidential Debates was formed, they asked the League of Women Voters if they would like to join up with them. And the president of the League of Women Voters said, we will not take part in this sham being perpetrated on the American people. And the Commission on Presidential Debates hosted debates in 1988, 1992, with criteria of a candidate has to be on enough ballots to theoretically win. They have to be constitutionally eligible, and they have to have a modicum of support. But that was not defined in the rule. It was basically, we know it when we see it.
Right, and then after Perot actually got into the debates and got a lot of attention for his ideas because of that, they then changed the rules afterwards.
They instituted a rule saying you have to average 15% in at least 5 national polls, and we get to pick and choose which polls we wind up using.
Right. And that's where we are today, where libertarians, Green Party folks are desperately trying to promote their candidate in the hopes that they will get more than 15% in these polls, so they might actually get into the debates. But Johnson sued over this, as did apparently Jill Stein. in the hopes
they were co-plaintiffs in the suit. And the suit was actually filed by the group Our America Initiative.
Isn't that Gary's thing?
Gary Johnson started it.
Okay.
Basically for the intended purpose of filing this lawsuit.
Really?
And, this suit has been in the works for a couple of years, and they were trying something completely different. Over the years, there have been a lot of lawsuits against the Commission on Presidential Debates. And this time, they wound up saying, it violates the Sherman Antitrust Act.
Meaning they're claiming to be a monopoly. They're claiming the Commission on Presidential Debates is a monopoly or something?
Yes, because the Republican and Democratic candidates allegedly wind up having to sign a contract saying, if we participate in your debates, we won't participate in any other debates.
Oh, okay. That's interesting.
Yes.
Well, it's an interesting approach. I didn't realize that detail of this. Let me give you the story here from the Washington Post. A long-shot lawsuit by the Libertarian and Green Party candidates for president has been tossed out by a federal judge, lowering the odds of a third-party candidate making it into this year's televised debates. Ron Nielsen, campaign manager for Gary Johnson, said, "We're exploring our options with the firm resolve that this case and the larger issue of fair debates are too important simply to allow such an arbitrary dismissal." Late last year, the largest third parties teamed up to argue the Commission on Presidential Debates protected a de facto monopoly. Bruce Fine, the lawyer who drafted the lawsuit, hoped that a judge would see the private CPD as a gatekeeper for millions of dollars in free publicity and its 15% polling threshold as a threat to the First Amendment. That, thought plaintiffs Gary Johnson and Jill Stein, would distinguish their cause from previous failures to open the debates. Fine told the Washington Post at the time, quote, "The difference between this case and other cases is our theory of relief and complaints," he said.
Now, I've read the entire 27-page ruling by the judge.
Wow.
And on the one hand, I agree with the initial assessment by the judge that, these are private entities and people have the right to free association. And if you force association, then basically you're compelling speech. And that is equally violative of freedom of speech and freedom of association.
But they didn't force association in this case, right?
Right. No, that's basically what the Libertarian Party candidate and the Green Party candidate were wanting is tell them they have to invite us. Force them to associate with us. And she said that we can't force association.
Right.
So on that hand, I agree. But some of the quote-unquote facts that she uses are a little flawed, and some of the logic that she uses is a little flawed.
All right.
Let me read briefly from the decision where she says, plaintiffs allege injuries are wholly speculative and are dependent entirely on media coverage decisions. The alleged injuries, failure to receive media coverage and to garner votes, federal matching funds, and campaign contributions, were caused by the lack of popular support of the candidates and the parties sufficient to attract media attention. This is obvious, or rather, it is obvious that defendants did not cause these alleged harms when the sequence of events is examined. The plaintiffs' injuries occurred before the defendants failed to invite them to participate in the 2012 debates because the lack of an invitation was due to plaintiffs' failure to satisfy the 15% provision. So basically what she's saying is you, Gary and Jill, failed to have enough support to get invited to our debates that are dependent on the media asking if people support you because, well, the media is not talking about you. So it's this weird catch-22. You can't get 15% of the debates if the media is not talking about you or they're not asking about you, but it's your fault that you didn't get the 15%. So her logic is a little flawed.
Well, we agree that the 15% thing is crap. I mean, that it's obviously designed to keep people out of the debates, clearly. So we agree with that. But what I heard from her was that, well, you just didn't meet their requirements. This is a private organization. You didn't meet their requirement.
Right.
Now,
you didn't meet the requirement that they set in a manner that they knew nobody would be able to meet.
That's true.
Other than a Republican or a Democrat.
But it is a private organization, and if somebody were to build some awesome debates that, the candidates wanted to be a part of, then maybe they wouldn't be part of the Commission on Presidential Debates, although it seems pretty unlikely. It's Free Talk Live. We'll continue.
People who can afford a LASIK procedure sure are lucky. Imagine being able to throw away your contacts and glasses. Imagine waking up tomorrow with 20/20 vision. Too bad everyone can't afford LASIK. Well, guess what? There's a company that agrees with you. The LASIK Vision Institute is now offering dramatically low prices on high-quality LASIK to make it affordable for everyone. That means you get the latest FDA-approved LASIK technology for a fraction of what others charge. And if you call right now, we'll schedule a free appointment so you can discover if LASIK is right for you. Results may vary. Call 1-800-939-5479. Even better, if you're one of the first 100 callers, ask about an extra 20% discount off our already low-cost services. We've already performed over 1 million procedures. Let us help you. Discover how you can get the quality LASIK experience you deserve at a fraction of what others charge. For your free appointment, call 1-800-939-5479. 1-800-939-5479.
Are you worried about your mom or dad living alone in their house? Hi, I'm Joan London. Listen, I know how difficult it is to find senior care for someone you love. That's why I recommend a free service called A Place for Mom. They are the nation's largest senior living referral service. Call A Place for Mom today.
To receive free information on senior living communities in your area, call A Place for Mom at 1-800-704-6182.
A Place for Mom offers free one-on-one advice from local advisors and a personalized list of senior living communities you can visit. If you have questions about senior care for your mom or dad, there's a place for answers, A Place for Mom.
Call A Place for Mom in the next 10 minutes to get your free ebook on financing senior care as well as free information on senior living communities in your area. Call 1-800-704-6182. That's 1-800-704-6182.
Following the news this week that recording artist and industry magnate Bob Dylan would be laying off 2,000 workers from his Muscatine, Iowa songwriting factory in an effort to streamline his music-making operations, The Onion spoke with veteran factory worker Travis Felton, who received a pink slip earlier today.
I've been working on the lyric assembly line for 25 years now. Punch in each and every morning, make sure the words are complex and poetic. And yesterday, the foreman calls me into his office to tell me that the company is reducing headcount. They're giving the whole rhyming section the boot. What Mr. Dillon and the other suits don't understand is that here in Muscatine, songwriting is all we have. And we've been doing the best damn Dylan songs in the world for over 50 years, and now they're trying to take that away from us. I don't know what I'm supposed to do next. Well, I guess I could see if they're hiring over at the Tom Petty factory in Hurstville. Lord knows I hoped it'd never come to that.
This is the Onion News Network.
For years, LRN.FM has had a listen line that you can call and listen to LRN.FM anytime. Now we're taking the idea to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on-demand line. You can call 641-793-9660 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed, and you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long-distance fees may apply. Just dial 641-793-9660 and choose from the menu 641-793-9660.
For Bitcoin to be ubiquitous, people need to use it. For people to use it, they must have it. How can we get Bitcoin into more hands? Tipping. What if you could include a bonus Bitcoin tip along with your regular tip to a server? What if that Bitcoin tip returned to you if unclaimed after 30 days? An attractive business card Bitcoin tip that's easily claimed, gives instructions on wallets and spending, and returns to the tipper if unused. Tip.freetalklive.com. Tip.freetalklive.com.
While our satellite channel is free to listen to, it's not free for us. You can help us cover our satellite costs with the chip-in on the right side of the page at lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, and you can bring up what you want. You can join us here toll-free, 855-450-FREE. We're talking about the failure of the third-party candidates, Gary Johnson, Jill Stein. They had teamed up to sue the Commission on Presidential Debates, apparently alleging that it was some sort of a monopoly because they have
claiming violations of the Sherman Antitrust Act And the judge points out that antitrust laws govern commercial activity, not political activity.
And the Commission on Presidential Debates doesn't actually do any kind of commercial stuff. They just set up debates, right?
Arguably the debates as they're set up by the CPD are 90-minute commercials for the Republican and Democratic candidates.
Well, sure, but they're not selling anything, right? They're not selling. Are they selling seats in the debates, meaning that you have to pay to get into them as an audience member?
No, they're not. They're not
doing commercial activity like that.
Correct. They're not doing commercial activity, but they are providing advertisement for the candidates.
Well, that much is true. Although, certainly the television company that they network with, or CBS or Fox or whoever, they probably give it to one. The different debates get. I don't know how they do the deal.
I believe each of the major broadcast networks, so ABC, NBC, CBS, I believe they each get a debate.
Right, so it kind of rotates around.
Yes.
So they're definitely making money off the sales. It does make me wonder if the commission is getting a cut of any ad sales out of that. So
I don't know if they get a cut out of the ad sales, but they do have corporate sponsors.
Okay, so there is some money changing hands.
Oh, there's definitely money involved. There is big money involved, and the CPD is a non-profit entity.
If you have Bitcoin, I want you to download the official wallet of Free Talk Live. It's Jax. You can go and get it from your favorite app store, Apple or Android. You can also go to the Jax website, jaxx.io. One of the best things about Jax, besides the fact that it's super easy to use and easy to back up your wallet and recover funds, is it's cross-platform. So you can get it for your phone, your tablet, your laptop, your desktop. Pretty much whatever operating system you're using, you can get a version of Jax for it, which means you can access your Bitcoin from different places, from different devices, or you can have different wallets. It's up to you. You can set it up however you want. Plus, there's shapeshift integration built into the wallet, meaning you can switch from one currency to another. You can go take your Bitcoin, turn it into Ether if you want to, or vice versa. It holds Bitcoin and Ether as well as DAO tokens, and more currencies are coming in the future. It's created by Anthony DiOrio. He's a Free Talk Live listener and the Chief Digital Officer of the Toronto Stock Exchange. So Jax is striving to give you command over your digital life, coins, contracts, currencies, identity, and more. It's all coming to Jax, and you can go and get it for free over at jax.io. It's Jax, the official wallet of Free Talk Live, your digital command center in the palm of your hand. jaxx.io. We'll continue talking about the Commission on Presidential Debates. Ultimately, they have been victorious in a lawsuit filed against them by Gary Johnson and Jill Stein, the Libertarian Party and Green Party candidates, respectively. Let's go to Ricky.
Technically, Jill is not yet the Green Party nominee. Their convention is this weekend.
It's happening this weekend. Okay.
I believe the presidential vote happens tomorrow. I'm not entirely positive on that.
So the presumptive nominee, Jill Stein.
Presumptive nominee. She does have enough pledged delegates based on the way they have their process. But one of the candidates that I actually debated several months ago from the Green Party has vowed to have a floor fight.
Ooh, so things could get interesting at the Green Party convention. Where's it happening? Do you know?
Houston.
Let's go to Ricky. He's in Pennsylvania. You're on Free Talk Live. Hello, Ricky.
Brother Ian, Brother Darryl, good evening.
Hello, Ricky. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Yeah, I have a little insight I'd like to give into Gary Johnson and the Libertarian Party. But before I do that, I had one quick question for Darryl, if I don't mind. If you don't mind.
Go ahead, ask.
Hey, Darryl? All right, Darryl, I applaud you, by the way. If you don't mind me asking, when you ripped up that bill on the debate and then you threw it down, please tell me it was a $10 bill. And
no, it was a single.
That's good enough. Washington's a toss-up. You're not a coward. That was a strategic move.
Okay, so
if all I would have had was 5s and 10s, I wouldn't have ripped anything up. I needed that money.
So what you're referring to is Darryl's performance in the Libertarian Party debate at their convention. You were one of the candidates for president this year. Gary Johnson ultimately, sadly, won that nomination. But you, at one point, tore up a piece of Federal Reserve note, a greenback, a U.S. dollar. on stage, announcing basically that you were committing a felony.
I said that I believe I committed a felony because I've heard that it
I've heard that too.
I've heard that it's not, but like, whatever. I don't care. The feds have not come to arrest me, and I don't think they will because they don't really go after people that beg to be charged with offenses. Because they know that if you're begging to be charged with an offense, you're going to make court very interesting, and they don't want court to be very interesting.
So you liked that, Ricky? You enjoyed it when he destroyed the currency?
Well, absolutely. I wish it would have been a 10 because Alexander Hamilton deserves it, but that's another story. But if I could get into Gary Johnson and a little insight from someone like myself. Okay. I guess you saw what the call screener put through, and I'll explain that. See, Gary Johnson is a problem, and my heart breaks for you, Darryl. It really does. I was almost in tears when you went on the air, and said what happened. Now, with Gary Johnson, he is the plight, and you guys are absolutely correct, because, you see, the Jeffersonians are not dead. Neither is the Democratic-Republican Party after they fragmented. Now, this is nothing against the Libertarians, but the Libertarians and the Jeffersonians are very similar, except that 30% of us in the party are still there. Now, here's where this comes tonight. You see, the platform that I mentioned, that's what I put to the call screener, and it goes simply put by like this. It goes freedom and independence for all with liberty through democracy. That was the platform.
Platform of what?
Right, so that's the first question.
Hold on. Democratic Republicans. That's what Jefferson ran under when he beat John Adams. Now, back to what I was saying.
What's that have to do with Gary Johnson? Yeah, please tie this in.
I will if you let me, Ian.
We don't have all night.
Now, what's happening here is the reason why this happened and their convention was taken over. Now, the solution is exactly that. I'm going to explain how this works. They did that because Donald Trump is Alexander Hamilton. He has said this himself. Gary Johnson is exactly what you guys have said he has been and is now with William Weld and the others. And the idea is they are there for one reason and one reason only. And that's exactly what you're talking about now with the way the party is and this and that.
What's the one reason?
I'm telling you, they are going to now try to screw it up just like when the Republicans moved their
Well, they're definitely screwing up the libertarian. No, I've had enough. I hate it when people yell to let me finish because that just makes me want to take you off even sooner. Toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. They are definitely screwing up the libertarian message. There's no doubt about that. And you can join us here. This is Free Talk Live.
This is an alert. If your business or church is building this year, you're about to pay more than you should. This could mean thousands of dollars more for your office, retail space, church, or warehouse. A General Steel building can save you as much as half the cost and time of similar conventional construction. And we're offering rebates of up to $20,000 to help you build today. Call General Steel for free information that could save you thousands. Call 866-91-STEEL. 866-91-STEEL. 866-91-STEEL.
So you've got to take a state construction license exam or certification. Can't decide on what books or what chapters to study? Discover right now how you can eliminate unnecessary books and wasted study time. At contractorexam.com, our study materials zero in on state-required test topics in an effective, multiple-choice format. So whether you're a plumber, electrician, general contractor, or other construction-related trade, contractorexam.com will help get you prepared. Visit us at www.contractorexam.com today.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippies! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you got to keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
We've all heard about blockchain assets like Dogecoin, Ether, and Ripple. Bitcoin isn't the only player in the blockchain game any longer. And for those of us wondering how to get our hands on these digital assets, finally, there's a solution. Shapeshift.io allows you to buy and sell between your digital assets and Bitcoin instantly between your own digital wallets. I've used it with ease. Shapeshift.io. There's no account or email address needed. You send them the crypto you want to sell. They send back the crypto you want to buy. It's that easy. Shapeshift.io. The three most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share one episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. You likely buy all kinds of things online. Amazon is the largest online retailer. You can get what you need at the same prices with free Super Saver shipping by going to shop.freetalklive.com. Please do your online shopping at shop.freetalklive.com. The Shire Free Church offers a sanctuary to those seeking an escape from state churches.
The Shire Free Church is an interfaith, diverse group of people that may not share identical theological beliefs. As a member in or minister of the Shire Free Church, you are a sovereign individual and may be the faith of your choice.
We don't claim to have all of the answers.
We are open to all peaceful people.
We want to learn from each other.
What unifies the Shire Free Church and its diverse members is peace,
love,
and liberty. There are many paths to God, one for every individual.
The Shire Free Church does not define a specific path beyond those parameters that must be your foundation.
Peace as your way,
love as your guide,
and liberty as your light.
Learn more at church.shiresociety.com.
That's church.shiresociety.com.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. Join us right here toll free, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Still to come, more about the presidential debates lawsuit that has failed. The third-party contenders, Gary Johnson, Jill Stein, sued, like a couple of years ago? A few years?
Yeah.
They sued basically after the 2012 election against the Commission on Presidential Debates, saying, hey, this is not fair. You need to make this, fair.
The suit was actually filed based on the case number. It looks like it was actually filed last year.
Oh, really? Okay.
It was in works for a couple of years.
Gotcha. Because I remember hearing about it.
There was a suit in 2012 that wound up getting tossed out immediately, and they were like, oh, well, we're going to sue in the D.C. court because, we think that court might be more favorable than the Southern California court, but it wasn't.
So we'll tell you more about that and, why this thing failed here in a few moments. But you want to talk about an actually interesting debate? Because I can tell you, even if Gary Johnson and Jill Stein got into the debates, it still wouldn't be that interesting because there really wouldn't be a real libertarian on the stage.
Right, but there was a debate, actually 2 debates last year hosted by Free and Equal.
That's right, the third-party debates.
Where they had one debate with Gary, Jill, Rocky Anderson from the Justice Party, and Virgil Good from the Constitution Party. And then there was a second debate with just Gary and Jill. And I have to say, they were interesting. I watched both of them.
Really?
They were interesting, and I actually think that Jill Stein and Rocky Anderson won that first debate. So what they did was after the first debate, they had people vote online for which two candidates do you think won and should go to the next round of the debate. And, well, Gary wound up getting more votes than either Virgil or Rocky to wind up going to that second round.
So it's just a popularity contest.
Basically.
Anything else.
Aren't all online polls popularity contests?
Sure. Now, what I was going to say here is that I've got a proposed debate that would be way more interesting than anything you're going to see on network television this fall. And that is the debate proposed by Roger Ver, wherein Bernie Sanders has been challenged with $250,000 worth of Bitcoin to the charity of his choice. All Bernie has to do is show up and debate Adam Kokesh. Who's Adam Kokesh? He's a libertarian, a voluntarist, a real principled liberty guy who has agreed to meet Bernie Sanders in any city in America for a friendly debate on socialism versus voluntarism, in which Bernie gets to choose the objective moderator. And to sweeten the deal, Roger Ver, a.k.a. Bitcoin Jesus, has offered that upon completion of a 3-hour debate, which is a pretty grueling length of a debate, usually, half or an hour and a half is more of a typical, an hour to an hour and a half is your typical debate length. 3 hours in which both men have equal time. He'll donate $250,000. It used to be $50,000. The original debate offer was that $50,000 would go to Bernie, $50,000 would go to Adam, and they would get to give it to the charity of their choice. Now Roger Ver is making it $250,000 will go to Bernie's chosen charity, and Kokesh only gets $50,000. So there's $300,000 in the offering here. If all Bernie has to do is say yes and, show up and do the debate. So far, he's ignored the invitations, is my understanding.
Yes.
Bernie, of course, had millions of dollars donated to his campaign, and now if he chooses, he can pay it forward and help out a worthy charity, thanks to Roger Ver and Adam Kokesh. You can learn more about this debate challenge by going to bernie.freetalklive.com. That's bernie.freetalklive.com. Now, I believe it doesn't say this here in the details I have, but I believe that the terms on this extra $200,000 offer is that he has to respond within a month of the offer.
Right.
I believe that's the case. So we'll keep you in the loop as this interesting debate challenge develops, because I would love to see that happen. I think that would be the most useful debate that Americans would have been able to watch in probably our lifetimes, to see the opposing sides of voluntarism versus state socialism. I think it would be pretty fascinating. Anyway, bernie.freetalklive.com.
It's not state socialism, it's democratic socialism. There's a difference because we voted on it.
Well, whatever. I'm sure he would try to explain
something.
That. Anyway, back to the story here from the Washington Post about the Gary Johnson / Jill Stein lawsuit against the Commission on Presidential Debates. You've got the actual 27-page ruling by the judge.
Yes, and I'm pulling some nuggets out of this to share.
Basically throws this thing out of court. The legal setback, according to the Post, does not eliminate the third party's options for debate access, but it displays how long their odds are. In the relatively short history of televised presidential debates, only one third-party candidate has ever shared a stage with the Democrat and the Republican.
Yes.
And that was in '92 when Ross Perot appeared and occasionally shined in face-offs with George Bush and Bill Clinton. In 1980, independent candidate John Anderson appeared in one debate with Ronald Reagan, but never one with incumbent President Jimmy Carter. There were no televised debates in 1968, the last year that a third-party candidate won electoral votes.
There were also no presidential debates in 1964 or 1972. So there was the famous Nixon-Kennedy debate in 1960. There were not any debates until 1976. After 1960. So there's, basically a 16-year gap. And then since 1984, they've become sort of a staple.
Since 1996, third-party candidates have tried and repeatedly failed to cross the CPD threshold. 15% in an average of polls. Denied access, they've resorted to stunts. In 2000, Ralph Nader obtained a ticket to view one of the debates between Gore and Bush and made a fuss after he was denied entry. In 2012, the Green Party successor Jill Stein was arrested after a protest near the heavily secured entrance of the debate site. Now, aren't they leaving out 2004?
With a ticket, and they did leave out 2004 where David Cobb and Michael Badnarik both had tickets.
Green Party, Libertarian Party.
And
candidates.
both showed up.
And got arrested, right?
Were both told, you're not allowed. And they said, but we have tickets. We're not leaving unless you let us in. And they said, Mr. Policeman, come get this guy, disorderly conduct, because he's on a public sidewalk and he won't leave.
I wonder whatever happened with those charges. Did they end up dropping them, or
I don't know.
Plea deals? I never really saw the conclusion of that. Anyway, Johnson, who, like Stein, is making a second and higher-profile run for president, has made entry into the debates a cornerstone of his campaign. He says, if I get into the debates, it's Katie bar the door. I think he's suggesting that he would actually have a chance at winning if he got into the debates. Johnson has struggled to hit 15% in any poll. In an average of polls collected by Real Clear Politics, he enjoys about 8% support, a function of voter frustration with the major party candidates, but far short of what he needs for entry, even as the CPD suggests that it will round up if a third-party candidate closes on the magic number. Well, I wouldn't trust the CPD to do any rounding whatsoever, but further...
I would trust them to wind up saying, oh, you know what? The polls we selected, you're only averaging 4%. Sorry.
Well, right. And at some point here within the next few weeks, they're going to be announcing which polls, right?
Yes.
So we don't even know yet at which polls we should be looking to determine how Johnson is doing according to the CPD. But
again, if you go to Real Clear Politics,
8%.
and they do have where you can show the three-way where it's Gary, Hillary, and Donald, or four-way where it's Gary, Jill, Hillary, and Donald. And, Gary right now is averaging 8%. Jill is averaging about 4%.
4, yeah. So, I mean, even if Jill Stein weren't in the race, he still wouldn't have enough.
When you look at the three-way, he goes from an 8% average to an 8.6% average. So he's not, quote unquote, taking votes from Jill.
And it's important to remember that even though that does appear that Johnson has a record amount of support for a libertarian candidate, you also have to remember that D's Nuts also received, I think, 9% in early polling way back in the day when a 15-year-old, like several months ago, a 15-year-old registered D's Nuts as a candidate with the FEC, and somebody put him in an actual poll. 855-450 free. It's Free Talk Live.
Every once in a while, you get information that's worth changing your life for. This is one such time. You can save up to and beyond 25% on all purchases at Amazon. You probably heard of Bitcoin and just not thought much about it. You certainly know that you can get competitive pricing at Amazon, but now you can get a 25% discount on nearly everything you need to live. I've just given you a huge raise, and all you have to do is claim it. You go to saveitpurse.com and open an account. Do this right now. Don't wait. Then you fund the account with Bitcoin. You can buy them through expresscoin.com with a check or money order. There are other ways to get Bitcoin, but that's fast, safe, and easy. This information is worth you changing the way you do things. Go to saveitpurse.com right now, get signed up, and cash in on the huge raise I'm offering you. 15 to 25% off of everything at Amazon through saveitpurse.com. It's saveatpurse.com.
Dangerous blood clot device alert. If you or a loved one had an IVC filter placed to prevent blood clots from traveling to your heart or lungs and suffered an injury, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. The FDA warns that IVC filters may cause serious complications, such as heart or lung damage, internal bleeding, and even death. These dangerous blood clot devices can break, and the metal fragments can travel to your heart or lungs, causing serious injuries. If you or a loved loved one suffered organ damage or other injuries from an IVC filter, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. Act now. Time is limited to file a claim. For a free consultation and free information, call Injury Help Desk at 800-478-1507. 800-478-1507. 800-478-1507. This is an advertisement. Paid non-attorney spokesperson. InjuryHelpDesk.com is responsible for this advertisement. Principal office, Las Vegas, Nevada.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world, so I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here, and I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, add yourself to the Shire map at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com.
There's no better app for tracking the value of cryptocurrencies than CoinCap. I've had a lot of apps for tracking Bitcoin, but none that's ever been able to track 500 digital assets at once. Their best feature is the Altfolio. I love this thing. You enter how many Bitcoins, Ether, Dash, Doge, or whatever else you have, and it tells you how much your crypto is worth. You can watch yourself get rich. If you have crypto, go right now to coincap.io, or you can use the Apple Store or Google Play to get the app. I love CoinCap. coincap.io.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
This is Free Talk Live. You may join us toll free here, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We've got Skype. Skype username is LRN.FM. Your comments, welcome on whatever happens to be on your mind. We've got some crazy stories coming up out of the Philippines. We'll get the chance. Plus, we'll talk in greater detail about New Hampshire Hempfest a little bit later on tonight. We started out this the show with the kind of expected, predictable news that court has indeed tossed out the lawsuit against the Commission on Presidential Debates.
Expected by everybody except for the most ardent Gary Johnson supporters and Gary himself.
You mean like the people who are deluding themselves into believing that, oh, there's a poll somewhere out there where Gary's got like 13%, and so therefore he might make it into the to the presidential debates, even though all these other polls are showing him below 10%, averaging at about 8%. They're just, well, he's got 20% amongst independents. He's got, they're trying to find all these statistics, these narrowed down statistics that somehow mean something to them, but ultimately won't mean anything to getting him into the debates.
Right, and also the people that are saying, well, once Gary winds up getting us a federal welfare check by getting 5%, then we can run an actual libertarian as the nominee. But we need that federal welfare check first. No, what's going to happen if, and I said this at the convention, if the Libertarian Party candidate gets 5% and the LNC allows the presidential nominee in 2020 to accept that welfare check, you're going to see what happened to the Reform Party happen to the Libertarians, where a bunch of people just influx in, fighting over who controls that millions of dollars.
Well, we've already seen people coming into the party fighting over nothing, so certainly they would fight over the millions of dollars.
Right. It's not going to be, now we can nominate a actual libertarian. No, it's going to be those people doubling down. Look what happens when we water down the message. As MSNBC, or rather MSN, wrote earlier, Gary Johnson presents libertarianism without being tied to an ideological straitjacket. Did you know that the principles of liberty were a straitjacket, Ian?
Now, was that MSNBC's terminology, or did Gary Johnson
that was MSN's terminology that they used. And they also quoted somebody. They did not give the name, but it was somebody that was a media advisor to Gary Johnson, saying that, we already have the libertarian vote. We don't have to worry about them. Yeah, there's some libertarians that aren't going to vote for Gary, but they weren't going to vote for him anyway.
Well, yeah, I was. I mean, I might vote for Gary. At this point, the more I hear from the guy, the less I want to vote for him. So I'm actually kind of afraid to watch the most recent CNN town hall. I watched
bits and pieces of it, and I
watched the whole first one.
It was not good.
Because I wanted to be able to comment on it. We were talking about it on Free Talk Live, and I think Mark called me out like, well, you haven't actually watched it. So I actually sat down and spent an hour watching the entire thing, and it wasn't as bad as it could have been, but it wasn't great. It wasn't anything to really applaud or get excited about.
Oh yeah, Hillary, lifelong friend, good person, highly qualified for the job.
So we can get into another review of
and then there was a quote from the most recent one where William Weld made some kind of statement about guns. Those are the ones that the military has, and those should not be in the hands of people that are possibly terrorists.
I've got a review of the new one here, but if you've got more highlights that you wanted to share, because I know you picked apart this 27-page ruling by the judge. Again, Commission on Presidential Debates victorious in this lawsuit against them. The judge essentially saying, hey, this is a private organization. If you don't want to, you can't tell these people what to do.
Right. And one of the other sort of bits of info that got thrown out by Johnson and Stein was, the commission has, by, their actions, they have become a de facto state agency. So it's de facto state action as far as the First Amendment is concerned. The judge says even when televised debates are hosted by a state actor, courts have held that such debates do not constitute a public forum to which there is a First Amendment right to access. They then cite the case of Arkansas Educational Television Commission v. Forbes from 1998, in which Forbes, a state agency, owned and operated a television network that hosted debates. The Supreme Court found that the state agency did not violate the First Amendment when it excluded from a televised debate an independent candidate for Congress whom it believed had insufficient support to be considered a serious contender. So even when it's the government or a governmental entity that is hosting the debate, they can pick and choose who they want to show up to the debate.
That's kind of crappy.
Right, and then there's some flawed logic to where they say, there were 240 people that filed Form 2 with the FEC 4 years ago. Could you imagine if all of those people were on the debate stage?
Now, who said that?
The judge cites that.
In this case.
In this ruling.
Yeah.
But there were not 240 people that were on enough ballots
to win,
to theoretically win. There were not even 240 people that were on a ballot at all. I believe,
like these nuts.
I believe in total there were 24 people that were on at least one ballot in 2012. There were only 4 candidates that were on enough ballots to theoretically cross over 270 electoral votes. If you include candidates that were on enough ballots plus a certified write-in in enough states to cross that 270, then it goes up to 6.
Well, she may have some flawed logic in her ruling. I mean, it's 27 pages, bound to have some screw-ups in it. And maybe those would be points on which they could appeal, perhaps. But ultimately, I think, this decision's pretty solid generally in that Commission on Presidential Debates is a private organization, and so therefore, sorry. Now, look, the claim was that, the CPD is requiring the presidential candidates to sign a form saying they won't debate anywhere else. Well, that may seem scummy, and it's, they shouldn't do that, but ultimately it is a private organization, and if they've created this holy grail of debates that people want to be a part of, if they're willing to eschew the possibility of going on any other debate forum, then that should be their choice. It is ultimately the choice of those candidates to make that.
Right. So on the one hand, I do agree, but at the same time, I wonder if the candidates actually realize what they're signing.
Well, I don't know. That's a good question. Who knows? Who knows if it's a really long form and they've never even read it? I don't know.
And that form is called the Memorandum of Understanding, and there's more information about that in the ruling that I did post on the Facebook page.
And I think, is that the form where they agree on the temperature in the debate hall, and they agree all the different rules?
They agree, I'll wear this color tie, you wear that color tie, the moderator will wear this color tie, the lights will be at this, and this will be here, and we'll have podiums, we won't have podiums, we'll use this type of microphone, we'll do this, we'll do that.
Maybe you've heard about this. I saw some news that Donald Trump is talking about not going to the CPD debates.
I've seen that. I know he's complaining that 2 of the 3 debates are on Mondays, and that competes with Monday Night Football.
A legitimate complaint, from his perspective.
Sure, but you got to think for a second. October, which is when the debates happen, there's football, there's baseball playoffs, basketball is starting up, hockey's starting up, so you can't pick a day where there's not going to be a sporting event.
But arguably Monday Night Football, does it do better than the other sports in the ratings?
I don't think anymore.
No? Okay. It seems more of
because now Monday Night Football is not even on broadcast television, it's on ESPN.
Oh, really? Okay. So what do you think Trump's up to there? Do you think he's just trying to snake out of doing any debates?
I saw an article where they speculated about whether or not Trump was trying to get out of doing any debates, or whether he's just trying to make sure that he stays in the news and he doesn't care why he's in the news, as long as they spell my name right.
Well, right, because why wouldn't Trump want to be on television? He's comfortable on TV. He's had TV shows all about him before. So it would seem a surprise that he wouldn't want to be a part of the debates.
Right, and I've also heard speculation, and right now all it is speculation, that Trump might just wind up pulling out of the race altogether because so many Republicans are ticked off at him because he's refusing to endorse people.
Well, I would be shocked by that, too. 855-450-FREE. Trump does seem to be all about Trump. And to pull out of something that he's going to get all this attention for seems very, very unlikely.
But how much more attention would he get if he pulled out?
Hour 2's coming up.
Are you searching for your soulmate? Someone you can trust, who will never betray you? Or cooperate with the NSA? Stop searching. With EasyDNS, you found a keeper. EasyDNS does it all. Domain names, web hosting, and managed WordPress hosting. EasyDNS stands up for your internet freedom. And with servers in Canada, they do not cooperate with the NSA. Go to EasyDNS.com. You'll love their services or get a full refund. They guarantee it. And they accept Bitcoin. That's EasyDNS.com.
Free Talk Live has partnered with Amazon, the largest internet retailer. Imagine a department store category, and Amazon has it. Books, electronics, office products, furniture, jewelry, automotive, toys, clothing, sporting goods, and dozens of other categories. Now you can shop and support Free Talk Live by entering Amazon through our website. Go to shop.freetalklive.com, and Amazon will send us a portion of your purchase. You're going to do the shopping anyway, so remember to enter through our site at shop.freetalklive.com. That's shop.freetalklive.com. Arcade City is a ride-sharing app built by drivers, not a mega corporation. As a driver with Arcade City, you can keep all of what you earn. Sign up now to drive for or ride with Arcade City at arcade.freetalklive.com. Arcade City is connecting drivers directly with riders and has been making headlines for disrupting the ride-sharing industry. Sign up now at arcade.freetalklive.com. That's arcade.freetalklive.com.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that tenth of a calorie it takes to click on something. facebook.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Friday, August 5th, 2016. Silver is trading at $20.05 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,350 per ounce. And according to BitcoinAverage.com, the average price of Bitcoin is $581. Antiwar.com reports the U.S. owes some $300 million in military reimbursements for Pakistan under the Coalition Support Fund deal, in which the Pentagon agrees to reimburse certain nations for costs incurred supporting U.S. wars. Pakistan is normally a large recipient because of the protracted U.S. occupation in Afghanistan. They're not going to be seeing that $300 million anytime soon, according to the Pentagon, however, certifying that Pakistan is still taking military action against the Haqqani network. That's not to say that Pakistan isn't doing so. Rather, Secretary Ash Carter simply does not seem to intend to certify it one way or another anytime soon, and because of that, the Pentagon can get away with just not paying the money they owe to Pakistan. Pentagon officials did, however, praise the significance of the sacrifices that the Pakistani military has undertaken to help the U.S. war effort. However, that appreciation appears to fall well short of actually reimbursing them as promised. For nearly 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. They also take Bitcoin for precious metal purchases and have permanently removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports the mayor of Stockton, California was arrested Thursday for playing strip poker with minors and giving them alcohol at a youth camp, according to police. Anthony Silva, 42, was arrested at the camp and charged with one felony count of making an illegal recording and one misdemeanor count of providing alcohol to a minor, cruelty to a child by endangering their health, and contributing to the delinquency of a minor. Silva, who was released Thursday afternoon on $20,000 bail, denied the accusations. Amador County District Attorney Todd Reeby said the incidents occurred August 7, 2015 at the Silver Lake Camp. The camp hosts about 75 children between the ages of 5 and 17, where Silva has often hired minors to work as counselors, according to court documents. Federal agents confiscated Silva's cell phone and laptop last fall and found 23 photos and 4 video clips taken at the camp between August 3rd and August 9th of last year. One of the video clips, where the phone was put down and recorded only audio, contains a conversation between participants involved in a strip poker game that occurred in Silva's bedroom, according to the district attorney's news release. The conversation between the participants indicated they were naked, one of the participants a 16-year-old male. The game allegedly included Silva, the 16-year-old male, an 18-year-old female, a 19-year-old female, and 2 19-year-old males. In 2115 New England, there are no borders, no states, and no regulations, yet never has a more peaceful and prosperous place existed. But Mr. Drake's security company has seen better days. Faced with the prospect of waning power, Mr. Drake intends to replace the anarchy of New England with a government. But at what cost? Will anybody care? And can anyone stop him? Anarchy in New England by Joe Jarvis is available from Amazon.com and all major bookstores. Reuters reports a U.S. appeals court issued an order on Thursday denying North Carolina's motion to stay the court's decision last week, striking down the state's voter ID law. The Fourth U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals said staying its own ruling would only undermine the integrity and efficiency of the upcoming election. On Friday of last week, the court ruled that the North Carolina law, which required voters to show photo identification when casting ballots, intentionally discriminated against African American residents. Attorneys for the state, in a written motion earlier this week, asked the court to put its ruling on hold while the state appeals to the U.S. Supreme Court and seeks to overturn the decision ahead of the U.S. presidential election in November. The decision by the U.S. Appeals Court also canceled provisions of the law that scaled back early voting in the potential swing state, prevented residents from registering and voting on the same day, and eliminated the ability of voters to vote outside their assigned precinct. The order noted that North Carolina officials already said they could conduct early voting at Board of Election offices for each county in line with the ruling. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
A report confirms that many Iraqis are still holding a petty grudge about the U.S. invasion. An advanced alien civilization discovers an uninhabitable planet, and a single woman has a Facebook profile picture with her sister. This is the Onion Week in Review. A groundbreaking study published Monday in the Journal of the American Medical Association confirmed that it is impossible to lose weight. No one has ever done it, and those who are trying should give up immediately. Researchers said that findings conclusively prove that shedding excess weight has never happened, changing your physical appearance is impossible, and that all sorts of exercises, personal training regimens, and diets will never, ever work.
Well, our test results conclusively prove that if you're going to the gym to lose weight, you will fail. You could work out every day and eat nothing, and you still wouldn't lose an ounce. Skinny people will stay skinny. Overweight people will be overweight. It's just how it is.
In other news, an area man is outraged his private information is being collected by someone other than advertisers. And a crowd cheers as this 93-year-old fuck-up finally graduates from college.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live, launching into the second hour of the program. You can dial in toll-free here and bring up whatever's on your mind. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Joining you in studio tonight, it's Ian.
And Darryl.
Still to come here tonight, Rick Naya from the Hempfest, New Hampshire Hempfest, that we're going to be attending for the first time this year. It's the third Hempfest. We'll tell you more about that coming up. And it's coming up. The event itself is coming up very fast. We're about 3 weeks away from it, just a little bit less than 3 weeks away from it right now. So that's coming up in the third hour of the show tonight. You can, of course, join us and bring up anything you want. In the first hour, we talked about Gary Johnson and Jill Stein from the Libertarian and Green parties, respectively, filing a lawsuit against the Commission on Presidential Debates and having it thrown out of court in a 27-page opinion by the judge in that case. You've analyzed and actually read through, God bless you, the 27 pages there, and you were sharing some excerpts from us, from it. The judge in the case didn't have the most sound logic, but overall, the point she was making was that this is a private organization, the Commission on Presidential Debates. I cannot, as a judge, force them to change their rules about their organization. That's basically the decision in a nutshell, right?
Basically, and also saying that even if they were a public entity, there is not, based on First Amendment, whatnots, she cannot force them to invite somebody that they do not see as a serious or viable candidate. And she actually winds up citing a case, Arkansas Public Television. That's not the actual name, but I don't have it in front of it. But basically, Arkansas Public Television was sued back in 1998 because a candidate for Congress was not invited. And the court said, yeah, well, they have the right to decide who is and who is not a serious candidate. They don't think you are, so therefore, no.
So basically, they don't have a leg to stand on in this suit. It's very unlikely that an appeal would succeed.
They could sue and say you got some of your facts wrong in some of your reasonings, but
that's not going to overturn.
That's not going to change the legal interpretation. Okay, some of the facts were wrong, but the logic of the First Amendment does not mean that we can force somebody to associate. Although, simultaneously, I do think that it's kind of interesting that courts have ruled that bakers can be forced to provide services for somebody.
Well, that's true. And as libertarians,
and
we
Gary
don't agree with that.
Johnson is all about forcing bakers to bake cakes.
Yep.
So it's understandable that he would want to force the Commission on Presidential Debates to, in essence, do business with him.
Because the position on the cakes is not a libertarian position. The libertarian position is, leave people alone. Let the market decide. And if somebody wants to discriminate against another person, for whatever reason they want to, they should be free to do that, and then the market should be free to punish the person who's discriminating.
Right. And I'm all in favor of having alternative debates.
Yes.
I really hope that the Free and Equal Foundation winds up hosting alternative debates again this year. Like
Have they not
did.
announced it yet?
They have not yet announced details.
Right.
And I think part of that
Maybe
is
they're
because
waiting on the Green Party.
Well, I think part of that is because ballot access deadlines haven't necessarily all been met yet,
True.
so they don't know who would be eligible to be invited.
Makes sense.
If they say everybody that is going to be on enough ballots to where they could cross that 270 electoral vote threshold.
Let's go to China, where we've got Ian on the line. Ian,
Hopefully he sounds better tonight than last night.
Oh, no. Is it bad last night? Ian, go ahead.
Does Skype sound better today?
No, not really. I should have. I didn't know it was a bad one last night. Otherwise, I would have screened the call and would have caught that beforehand. Because usually he sounds pretty good all the way from China. Thank you for the call tonight. We just can't let terrible sounding calls on the air.
Yeah, he was good for about the first 30 seconds last night, and then it started getting garbled like that. And
I blame
the
the
second
Chinese
call
internet.
and the third call. So I gave him 3 shots.
Yeah, well, after the first one, you got to start screening. It's just not worth bringing it on the air and spending time on it. So I apologize, dear listeners, about that. Let's jump into another Gary Johnson-related story. This is from Lou Rockwell's website, which actually, I'm sorry, I thought it was written by Lou, but it's actually a blog post on his site written by Tho Bishop. Now, I don't know who that is, but it's someone who wrote after having watched the CNN town hall this Wednesday. This was the second CNN town hall to focus on the libertarian presidential candidates. And the first one I did watch. The second one I have not.
It should be noted that the Green Party is also getting a town hall next week, and they didn't have to sell out their party to be able to get a town hall from CNN.
Right. Presumably Jill Stein, if she gets the nomination, will be relatively close to the Green Party political platform. At the very least, I haven't heard the rumblings. Maybe there are some internal fights within the party over this, but certainly within the Libertarian Party, there's a huge schism over Gary Johnson and William Weld, with libertarians like you and I saying, look, these guys just don't represent liberty, and it's an embarrassment to the party that they've been chosen.
The quote unquote fights that I've heard within the Green Party about who the presidential nominee should be, it has nothing to do with Jill Stein doesn't understand what the Green Party stands for. It's, I think this other candidate does a better job of representing or promoting the Green Party message. Not Jill Stein's not an actual
She's not a Green.
It's just she's not that good of a public speaker, or something along those
minor
lines.
Quibbles.
Yes.
Tho Bishop writes, the Johnson-Weld ticket had its second CNN primetime special on Wednesday, with the duo once again missing a great opportunity to be taken seriously by most of the country. While it's great to see cable news acknowledge viewpoints outside of the corrupt duopoly, or monopoly, he writes, of the status quo, the attention given to the Libertarian Party during this unconventional election year is a constant reminder of how foolish it was for the Libertarian Party to nominate an uncharismatic space cadet who seems utterly uninterested in any serious intellectual discussion. In a desperate attempt to be taken as seriously as the two major parties in D.C., they have followed their example by selling out its principles for the false hope of boosting its ability to fundraise. Last night was the perfect example of the ineptitude of the Johnson-Weld ticket. The event started out with Gary Johnson's ritual telling the world how much he admires and loves his vice presidential candidate, selling the ticket as, quote, 2 presidents for the price of 1, unquote. Unfortunately, while Johnson's libertarianism may be shallow, Weld's is non-existent. Just in the course of this campaign, Weld has actively defended gun control, the IRS. Remember back in the day, Darryl, when Harry Brown, the presidential candidate for the Libertarian Party in 1996 and 2000, actually advocated for abolishing the IRS entirely and raising the building and selling the pieces of the rubble to people to pay people's Social Security bills down the line.
And I also remember in 2004, people telling Michael Bednarik, yeah, you need to take care of any IRS situation that you have before you continue with your campaign.
And what did he tell him? Screw off?
I think he said, I will respect your private organization's rules and take care of that.
Wow.
I think. I don't know because I wasn't there for the conversations. I've just heard secondhand that he was requested to take care of any back taxes that he may have owed.
Weld also defended his good friend Hillary Clinton and during the CNN debate went on to defend laws on prostitution. Well, wait a minute. The official Libertarian Party, not presidential, but the Libertarian Party platform is in favor of abolishing all prohibitions on victimless crimes, and that includes prostitution. The toll-free number here tonight is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. And defending the laws against prostitution must have happened in this week's CNN town hall because it wasn't in the first one. Again, I watched the entire first one. You can share your thoughts. Maybe you watched it this week. Let us know what you thought about their performance here. It's Free Talk Live.
If you or someone you love is suffering from hearing loss, please stay tuned for a special free offer from the makers of a revolutionary hearing breakthrough called Listen Clear. Listen Clear is precisely designed by top audio engineers to fit the ear almost invisibly, and it can be adjusted to find the perfect way to hear everything in every listening environment. Right now, we're offering absolutely free in-home trials to everyone who calls now. 1-800-721-9369. Call in the next 10 minutes, and you'll also receive free shipping and free batteries for life. Listen Clear is lightweight and practically invisible, so people won't notice when you're wearing it. So again, if you or someone you love is suffering from hearing loss, please give them or yourself this life-changing 100% free in-home trial with free shipping and free batteries for life. For free information, call now. 1-800-721-9369. That's 1-800-721-9369. 1-800-721-9369.
Have you checked your Google search results lately? Search results are usually the first impression that people form of you or your business, so make sure that they create a positive impression with ReputationDefender.com. What the internet says about you can have a big impact on your life and your livelihood, even if it's not true. Fortunately, you can now control how you look online and in online search results with ReputationDefender.com. Call 800-831-0771 now. That's 800-831-0771 for your free reputation analysis. If you have negative material from an ex-employee, upset patient, or former client, newspaper article, legal issue, social media, or other source showing up in your search results, you can combat it with ReputationDefender.com. Our dedicated experts in patented technology can help make your online search results look their best. Call 800-831-0771 to learn more. 800-831-0771. That's 800-831-0771. Or visit ReputationDefender.com.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market.
Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com. So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
This is your Robertson Roberts Brokerage Daily Precious Metals Update. In early trading Thursday, gold is $4 higher at $1,362 per ounce. Silver is 10 cents lower at $20.36 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at $575 US. Gold and silver have been quietly outperforming the stock market all this year. Perhaps it's time for you to diversify your savings. Call Robertson Roberts Brokerage at 800-874-9760 or visit us online at rrbi.co.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You're invited to join us here toll free, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. With you tonight, it's Ian.
And Darryl.
Liberland, the European micronation, has recently had recognition proposed by 7 Polish legislators. We've been talking about Liberland off and on here on Free Talk Live for the last year or so, since it kind of came into the headlines, and it's a pretty exciting thing. Now, they're trying to get recognized by other nations, so then they can kind of claim to be the real thing. Right. Of course, we all know that nations are just an imaginary concept, but if you can get other people who believe in that imaginary concept who are, high up in the rankings of those nations, then that could actually help them gain some sort of recognition on the national or international stage. And so it's their top priority over at Liberland, and it really is a matter of just keeping their name in the news and continued determination. And they're good at both. The Chicago Journal of International Law just released a 35-page essay making a case for statehood for Liberland. Roger Ver, the owner of Bitcoin.com, has also come out with both stated and financial support for Liberland. Liberland has said many times that the base of their economy is Bitcoin, and nearly 500,000 people have registered on Liberland's website with more than 100,000 requesting citizenship. Liberland is a small place, so to qualify for citizenship, you must substantially contribute to the growth of Liberland. So get cracking if you're interested. Visit liberland.org, Liberland, liberland.org. As we continue here, of course, we'll take your calls about whatever is on your mind. We've been discussing the not-so-impressive performance of Gary Johnson and William Weld, the two candidates for president and vice president, respectively, from the Libertarian Party. There's a just absolutely scathing blog post over at LouRockwell.com by Tho Bishop, and he's pointing out that while Johnson's libertarianism may be shallow, Weld's is non-existent. Weld has, in just the course of this campaign, actively defended gun control, the IRS, Hillary Clinton, who he calls a good friend, and during the CNN debate this week went on to defend the laws on prostitution, repeated his call for a new ISIS task force, and called for government jobs for black Americans. Bill Weld's views are about as unappealing as Gary Johnson's stage presence, writes Tho Bishop. During one of the first questions regarding LGBT issues, Gary Johnson was given the opportunity to clarify his infamous comments regarding bakeries being forced to bake cakes for gay weddings, which is not a libertarian position. The libertarian position is let the market decide. Let people make bad choices for themselves.
Right. And Gary Johnson has previously said that he believes that if you allow freedom of association to mean freedom to disassociate, that's a black hole.
I don't get it. What do you mean?
That it leads to a whole bunch of things to where nobody will do business with anybody because, well, I don't want to do business with you because you don't want to do business with that guy. And
Ridiculous.
That's just absolutely ridiculous and absurd.
The desire to do business overwhelms, in a lot of cases, bigotry and hatred. It's the willingness and the need to do business with people that overcomes those things. Because, okay, you may not like the way somebody looks, but if they've got money for you and they want to hire you to perform a service, maybe you'll get over the way that person looks. Maybe you'll decide, you know what, I'm going to talk to this person anyway because they want to hire me. And then when you talk to the person, you'll realize, what do you know? They may have a funny hairstyle, but they're a human being just like me. They've got things they want. They've got things in life that are important to them, like their family, loved ones, etc. Gosh, we're really not that different after all. So I think the marketplace actually has a real force towards bringing people together rather than separating them. You don't need the government to force people together.
It does, and part of what I see as the problem right now is the bigots aren't allowed to be bigots out in the open.
Right.
So if somebody says, I don't want to do business with Free Staters, libertarians, black people, Jews, or Catholics, they're not allowed to put that sign in their front window. I want people to put that sign. That way I know where not to shop.
Exactly. More
not
information.
Not only the people that don't want me there, but the people that don't want other people. All right, well, now I know everybody's a bigot. I'm going to the co-op.
Yeah, and not only that, I want to know where I don't want to work, too. I don't want to work for somebody who's a racist or a bigot or something like that. So, yeah, please advertise it. Put it out there on Front Street. Let us know. That way the market can decide how to handle it. Anyway, while Gary Johnson's opinion of religious freedom being a black hole is troubling, his attempted clarification drifted to the bizarre, as he argued that while a baker should have to sell a cake, he shouldn't have to frost it. Huh?
Yes.
While it's good to hear Gary Johnson defend the free expression of cake decoration, his modification of his position only invites more questions. It honestly seems as if Gary Johnson views the whole gay wedding cake scenario as one in which a wedding party tried to buy a wedding cake the day of the special day and were promptly physically removed from the store, instead of the store turning down an inquiring gay couple for the cake that had yet been baked. Because usually when it comes to buying cakes for weddings, you're planning those things in advance. Maybe Gary doesn't realize these things.
It's not like a birthday to where you're like, oh crap, my next door neighbor has a birthday and I realize that they don't have any family in town, so I'm going to buy them a cake on the way home.
Last minute, sure. Perhaps in Gary Johnson's Uber everything utopia, he envisions bakeries as Subway-style stores where customers get cakes decorated on demand at the point of purchase. So what a bizarre position for him to hold, that on one hand he believes the baker should be forced to sell the cake but shouldn't have to write things on it. I mean, what? You either have the right to choose or not.
Right, but that's what happens when your understanding, and I use that term very loosely, when your understanding of libertarianism is we're fiscal conservatives and social liberals, and I'll figure it out when the question gets asked. There is no underlying understanding of libertarian philosophy in Gary Johnson land.
Yeah, I don't know if he could explain it if he were asked. He should be able to, because it's not complicated. You can explain libertarianism in one statement.
Every time he's asked, what is a libertarian? His response is
fiscal conservative.
A libertarian is a fiscal conservative and social liberal.
And, there's not really anything wrong with saying that necessarily, but it's not the right definition of a libertarian. That's a good way to sort of pitch the concept briefly to somebody
without actually explaining why that is.
Right.
Because he just thinks that if you are that, you're a libertarian.
Right, like you picked a little of this and a little of that, now you're a libertarian.
John Kasich is a liberal Republican. But he would fit Gary Johnson's definition of fiscal conservative, social liberal. But John Kasich is not a libertarian.
Right. And neither is Gary
Michael
Johnson.
Bloomberg, not a libertarian, but he's a liberal Republican. So I really would love to ask Gary the question, and I don't expect him to give me an answer. I don't expect anybody on his campaign staff to give me an answer to this question, but I'll throw it out there anyway.
Well, hold on. Before you ask the question, I mean, we could probably get him on the show. They're advertising on our show.
Let me throw out the question, and I'll let you decide.
He's been in the studio before.
Based on Gary's definition of libertarian as fiscal conservative, social liberal, what differentiates that from liberal Republican or low-tax liberal?
Good question. Toll-free number tonight, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. You can give us your review of the Johnson-Weld second CNN town hall appearance this week. Did you see it? You can join us here. Our Skype username, by the way, is lrn.fm, and this is Free Talk Live.
Worried about lead, fluoride, and other contaminants in your drinking water? Get a ProPure with the Pro 1G 2.0 cleanable reusable filter and remove up to 200 contaminants. Drink water the way nature meant it to be. Clean, crisp, and refreshing. See the complete line of ProPure products, including the new ProMax shower filter. There's a ProPure for you. Visit your authorized ProPure dealer for details or ProPureUSA.com. That's ProPureUSA.com.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug-out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
I just heard the best sales pitch I've heard in a long time on an airplane. The flight attendant announced, "If you paid more than $75 for your round-trip ticket, you overpaid." This is brilliant because everybody on the flight paid more, and I was struck by how all the road warriors stopped typing and reading and working and looked up. The announcement invited us to apply for the airline's credit card, and the sign-up bonus, enough frequent flyer miles for a free round trip. Talk about turning lemons into lemonade. With some banks offering free credit cards, $75 is an outrage for an annual fee, but a bargain for airline tickets. For more tips on communicating more effectively, hit survivalspeech.com, where you can see how I got the CEO of another major airline to shower me with freebies. I'm Holland Cook.
Should you be able to earn an honest living free from senseless government interference? The Institute for Justice thinks so. That's why we've spent years defending hard-working men and women from pointless government regulations. Nationwide, IJ has created opportunity by reducing government power, but there is still more work to be done. Visit our website today at ij.org. Let IJ take care of the government so you can take care of your business.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live.
I spent 8.5 years of my life in prison, and I blame it squarely on the shoulders of Christianity and the stories that I was told. If my parents, if the people at the Christian school, if the people at church would have just explained morality to me as opposed to explaining heaven and hell as a reason for doing what was right and what was wrong, I think I would have understood. It's relatively easy. If you do the moral thing in life, your life is going to be better. You're going to sleep better at night. You're going to probably be much more prosperous.
Right,
they say crime doesn't pay. They say it for a reason.
Happen right here in this world. We don't have to wait for an afterlife to experience the consequences of our actions, whether good or bad,
If I would have just been given the gift of morality instead of the gift of some silly, crazy story, I would never have gone to prison.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM. What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, and you can share with us whatever you want to talk about. That is the point of Free Talk Live. We are discussing in detail the CNN town hall with Gary Johnson and William Weld, the Libertarian Party presidential nominees, which neither of us are particularly happy about. Darryl, you actually ran against Gary Johnson for that nomination. You unfortunately
and I did
not.
everything I could to make sure that William Weld was not the nominee and came up 18 votes short.
Sad.
And I replay, and I know that I can't go back to undo things, but I replay the scenarios in my mind constantly of... If this would have happened, if I would have said this at this time, if this, then would this, and maybe, and yeah, it's devastating.
You actually have found the transcript from the this CNN town hall that we are talking about.
Yes.
There's a scathing review of it over at LouRockwell.com, and I would say well-deserved from what I've seen so far of this. But you have the actual transcript. They say here that Bill Weld actually... this guy who's a former governor of Massachusetts. As soon as I heard that, I knew he was bad news. But the review here says that apparently at one point this Bill Weld character actually attacks the idea of legalizing or decriminalizing prostitution, which of course the libertarian viewpoint on that is, of course, prostitution needs to be legal. It's victimless crime.
So Anderson Cooper,
well, hold on. You've got that. We're going to get into it, but I want to make sure that you know how to get to sleep tonight, because if you're tossing and turning, if your neck is hurting, you got to have a pillow that is designed to fit to the shape of your body and hold your neck in the proper position. And what is that? Well, apparently it's when your spine is straight and parallel to the floor. So if that's not happening with your current pillow, you should consider an upgrade to MyPillow. In fact, there's plenty of other reasons to do it. MyPillow actually is washable. Have you ever washed your pillow? I've never done it. I don't think you can wash most pillows, but you can wash the MyPillow.
Well, you can, but they're not going to be usable afterwards.
That's what I mean. The MyPillow, you can put it in the dryer as well. It's an amazing product, and you can get yours. I've been using mine. Darryl, you've been using yours for a few months now, and it's fantastic. If you get it and you don't think that it is the best pillow you've ever used, no problem. They've got a 60-day money-back guarantee. Now, you got to love it when a company stands behind its products with a money-back guarantee, and they do that over at MyPillow.com. You can go get your pillow there, but do use code FTL so you can get a second pillow free, or you can get one at half off. MyPillow.com, code FTL. There's a 60-day money-back guarantee and a 10-year warranty on the product. It's MyPillow.com with code FTL. Let's go to Sarah in Albuquerque, and then we'll get into what is apparently a terrible transcript. You haven't read it to me yet, Darryl, so I don't know what to expect except for the worst. Sarah, go ahead.
Oh, yes. Can you? Yeah, I want to talk about drive-up mortuaries. Have you ever heard about you could see your loved ones through a curtain through a drive-up window?
Never heard of that.
This is a new concept to me. Is this a thing in New Mexico or what?
I don't know. I heard about it on the news, but the people have just become so lazy that they don't want to come out of their cars, and so they just open up a curtain. You get to see your loved ones, and then go on about your business. But anyways, Albuquerque used to have how about this?
Hold on, Sarah. It is apparently a thing. According to Time.com, a Michigan funeral home opened, this was from 2014, opened a drive-through lane that shows open caskets. As you enter into the drive-through, you're going to see a memorial box where you can drop a memorial card or monetary contribution, said the president of the Paradise Funeral Chapel. Once you push the button, the register box will open up. At that time, you may sign your name in the register book. And when you proceed forward, the curtains will draw back and you may pay your respects to the loved one for 3 minutes from the privacy of your vehicle. So, yeah, that's apparently a thing.
I don't know if that necessarily means that the people are lazy. It could mean that maybe they don't want other people seeing them be emotional.
That could be. They also point out here that it is beneficial to those with physical limitations. So if you're crippled and it's a big deal to get out of your car, then this prevents you from having to do
the only time you have is a lunch break because it wasn't a family member that would, your boss would give you the day off work to be able to go to the viewing or whatnot. So, I can understand people that are in a hurry, so not necessarily a lazy situation, or they don't want to be seen in public being emotional.
Sarah, what do you think?
Well, I just want to add that, did you know Albuquerque used to have how about this, drive-up alcohol pickup window?
Yeah, they had one of those in Florida.
There's
where
apparently
I'm from.
a bunch of places that have those. In some places, and I forget where, they call them a brew-through.
Good call tonight, Sarah. Really interesting topics. I really commend you on this one. Thank you for it. Toll-free number 855-450-FREE. Nice to hear something different from Sarah. Normally she's only talking about traffic issues. And I guess you could say drive-through funerals are
I'm sure she probably would have somehow gotten to a traffic issue related to that.
Anyway, seniors don't have to leave their cars, according to the LA Times. Those who can't stomach stepping inside a funeral home don't have to. Families can avoid the complications of hosting a formal indoor viewing, and the disabled can roll through in their own wheelchairs, as one woman recently did. So apparently, how prevalent these things are, I don't know. And I don't really have a problem with the idea of a drive-through liquor store. I mean, what's the difference whether the drunk guy is, driving through or stops the car, pulls up, walks in, and then walks back out?
Well, hopefully, if you're buying alcohol, you're not already drunk. And
I bet you it happens.
I'm sure it does, and that's how you get your liquor license revoked, because there's regulations against it.
All right. So let's get back into it here. Back to victimless crimes with William Weld, the vice presidential candidate for the Libertarian Party, and Gary Johnson, the presidential candidate for the Libertarian Party. I've got the full review. We'll continue with that, but let's stop down for a moment and share the actual transcript that you have pulled up here, Darryl, from this week's CNN Town Hall.
Yes, and I actually backed up just a little bit, and this was an audience question.
Oh, okay.
So they say, from the audience, this is Michael Bernstein. He's a registered libertarian from Melville, New York. He's a management consultant and says he's 100% supporting you.
Oh, geez.
Michael, what's your question? Hi, Gary. Embracing a libertarian policy framework usually involves examining our society's vices, and we hear a lot about legalizing marijuana, but we don't hear a lot about more hardline libertarian positions, such as legalization of sex work in the United States. Where do you fall on some of those more hardline policies? Anderson Cooper then asked, point blank, do you support decriminalization of prostitution?
Right.
Gary, that ends up to be a state's issue, and if you look at that issue, Nevada has done it. Prostitution is not something that I intend to enlist those services. Laughter, crosstalk. Johnson, if I were someone to do that, where would you do that? Well, I think you would do it in Nevada, where you know that you would not catch a sexually transmitted disease, then it would be safe. Anderson Cooper then says,
not a really pure libertarian answer, but not exactly a total statist answer.
Anderson then says, the Libertarian Party platform says individuals own their bodies and have rights over them that other individuals, groups, and governments may not violate. And later it says, quote, we favor the repeal of all laws creating crimes without victims.
It's sad. This isn't the first. I did watch the first CNN Town Hall. I haven't watched this one in full. But it's sad because in the first CNN Town Hall, they get called out on their lack of adherence to the libertarian viewpoint. And it's sad when the CNN Town Hall host knows more about the Libertarian Party's platform because they've spent, 5 to 10 minutes actually looking up some of the issues in it. It's sad when they know more about what the libertarian position is supposed to be than the actual candidates themselves.
Yes, there's more to the answer from Johnson Weld that we will get into.
Because Weld has something to say about it coming up here. And I don't know what it is, but all I know is he's apparently against decrim, which, sorry, that's not a libertarian stance. So we'll see what the exact statement is here in moments. You can join us as well. Bring up what you want. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. Did you see the CNN town hall? Is it as bad as it sounds like it was? It's Free Talk Live.
Know that sound? That's the sound of trouble for CPAP users. Did you know that just one drop of water in your CPAP system can become a breeding ground for mold and bacteria? Breathe that stuff in and you're battling respiratory infections, allergy attacks, and more. But here's good news. SoClean.com has released the world's first and only automated CPAP cleaner and sanitizer. It's the healthier way to clean your system because it kills 99.9% of germs in minutes. For a limited time, you can try it risk-free for 30 days. Just call 1-800-951-9693. SoClean makes cleaning your CPAP a breeze. It's completely hands-free. Just pop in your mask, close the lid, and presto, your CPAP system is clean and fresh in minutes. Don't let one drop of water wreak havoc on your body. Call SoClean.com now for your risk-free trial while supplies last. 1-800-951-9693. That's 1-800-951-9693.
Is negative content or comments on the web affecting your personal or professional reputation? Unfavorable comments, embarrassing pictures, videos, legal documents, and negative articles can ruin your personal life, your career, or your business. It happens a lot, and it's just not fair. But what can you do? ReputationDefender.com can help protect your good name. Get a free consultation now. Call 800-831-0771. That's 800-831-0771. Call right now for a free expert reputation analysis. It's easy to squash the unfair attacks with our patented system, and the analysis is absolutely free. Make the best things about you jump out in searches. Protect your personal and professional reputation, your business, and your income. Get your free reputation analysis from ReputationDefender.com right now. Call 800-831-0771. 800-831-0771. That's 800-831-0771. Or visit ReputationDefender.com today.
I've been told no in many different ways.
I give you an order and you're going to obey it.
George, you can go this way. You can do that and you have to leave here.
You cannot bring signs into the rally.
Walk with me. Well, I'm comfortable here, actually. Whoa, hey, who do you think you are? Excuse me.
There is no video and audio allowed in this office.
No, I have work today.
You ain't gonna make it.
Wait on account. Now. Wait a minute.
Whoa.
Hey! Oh my God! Unbelievable!
Why are you running from me?
Because you're scared me. What am I being detained for?
You're being served.
What is this?
You're being served.
What is this? Bureaucrats have a funny way of telling people no.
That's the sound of the men working on the chain.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. You may already know about the Free Talk Live audio-on-demand phone line at 641-793-9660. Did you know that not only can you listen to Free Talk Live via your phone, you can also leave a message and have it delivered to Free Talk Live's hosts? To leave us your thoughts, just dial 641-793-9660. That's 641-793-9660. Press 2 for Free Talk Live, and then hit 0 to leave your message.
Radio is the most personal of mediums. I exist right now in your head. If you listen to Free Talk Live regularly, you know me. Free Talk Live is on more than 160 radio stations around the U.S. and has been downloaded on every continent around the world. Hundreds of thousands of listeners with ad packages from $600 a month to $6,000 a month. Imagine what we can do for your business, project, website, or idea. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, and you can join us here toll-free at 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We are still doing the satellite fundraiser, trying to raise money to continue our existing satellite channels over North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we just added today a brand new perk to the Indiegogo fundraiser. You can go to fund.lrn.fm to read all about free-to-air satellite and why this is an important project. At least that's what I think. And thank you to everybody who's contributed to it so far. But Darryl, you stepped up and offered a new perk to the list of already existing perks that we had. We added a $10 perk. So we had a $50 perk, then we added a $25 perk. Now we've added a $10 perk. You can still contribute $5 if you want, but you can get the $10 perk, which is a package of your book. Would you call it an autobiography?
Memoir.
Memoir. Okay. So it's about your journey to liberty. It's called A Rebel's Journey.
My Path to Liberty.
And you put this book out, 2 years ago?
About 1 year ago.
And it's available in print. You don't get that version of it because that would cost money to ship. But you're giving away every other version of this thing, the audiobook version, then ebook version, and a PDF version, all in one package.
Well, that is the ebook, is the PDF.
Oh, I apologize. I thought there was like a format for ebook.
There is an EPUB version, but that is not part of.
Oh, I should go and update the copy then, because I made it sound like there were 3 different versions.
No, there's the PDF and then there's the audiobook. So the PDF is the ebook.
I apologize about that then. So I'll try to remember to correct that later. But anyway, you're giving away your book, A Rebel's Journey, as one of the perks, and also you're willing to give it to anybody at any level of contribution. So you don't, if you want to give $300 or $50 or $100 or whatever to the satellite fundraiser, you'll still get A Rebel's Journey. It's just that I created a $10 perk just for people that want to feel like they can get something for a little less than the $25 one. So that's available now. You get that free, and then there's some other perks in there as well. Like if you want to sit in on the production of your favorite LRN.FM show, that's another perk, and then there's a few others. So please check that out and help us with the satellite fundraiser. We are 2 weeks away from it being completed. And so we're down to the wire almost on this. So thank you, Darryl, for the generous donation.
You're welcome.
We're going to continue with the transcript here in a moment. You've got the transcript of what Johnson and Weld, the libertarian so-called candidates for president and vice president, had to say about decriminalizing prostitution. But first, Ralph is in New Jersey. Ralph, have you ever hired a sex worker?
Have I what?
Have you ever hired a sex worker, a prostitute?
6. That's a very.
That's not what you were calling about tonight, huh? Go ahead.
Have you ever had sex with a black woman, as I suggest you would?
No, I have not.
I have not, but if you send one up here.
That goes without saying right there. Now, the issue of race is once again the thing that I want to talk about because
I would. By the way, I don't know what you're saying there, Ralph, but I wouldn't rule out having sex with a black lady. I just don't know very many of them.
Okay. All right. Well, I can't help you on that one. You have to find a pimp in the Bronx or Brooklyn.
No, I'm pretty sure you can have sex with people without having a pimp. But anyway, go ahead.
They are the so-called black leadership. Okay, and I can name the former NBA basketball player Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Yeah.
As being that, okay.
Wait, you're saying he's a black leader?
Well, I mean, if he
who does he lead?
Promote, because.
Well, he did captain the airplane in
Airplane.
In Airplane.
I don't think he was the captain. He was like the navigator or the assistant captain or something.
Well, he was, helping somebody lead the plane.
That's true. Ralph, I got to object to the idea that there are black leaders. I think we've talked about this previously. There are people who the media pays attention to, but that doesn't mean that they're leading anyone or in charge of anyone.
There are indeed there are black leaders, and there are also.
Are you a Philippine leader? Because we pay attention to you, we'll take your calls.
No, I don't claim to be anything.
Did Kareem Abdul-Jabbar claim to be a black leader, or did you claim that he was?
I mean, because we have on the plight of black. Okay, I want to know how come this man is not invested on
How come he's what?
He is not invested.
Invested?
On black killing. He is not concerned.
How do you know he's not concerned?
Wait, hold on.
Do you live inside the head of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar? You know what he believes? You know what he thinks?
Are you saying Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is not concerned with black people's well-being?
That's what he said.
That's what I thought he said, but I want to make sure.
It's constantly about, the police and the black and what's going on in there. But more to my
So
point,
is Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in favor of police violence or against police violence against people?
Well, he's speaking out against that. That's
well,
for sure.
good.
But, this, animal, Obama, has not really done anything for the blacks, okay? We are now...
Well, of course not. He's a politician. All he ever did was use people, make promises to them so he could aggregate himself more power and money. That's not a surprise, Ralph. Thanks for the call tonight. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. Let's jump into this. I mean, come on. He's a politician. Of course he's not going to do anything for anybody except for his buddies.
So
he doesn't care what color they are.
Getting back into this, Gary Johnson was asked, do you support decriminalization of prostitution? He says,
the CNN town hall.
I think it's a state's issue. Look at Nevada. I've never hired a prostitute, but if I were, I'd probably go to Nevada. Anderson Cooper then quotes the Libertarian Party platform by saying, the Libertarian Party platform says we favor the repeal of laws creating crimes without victims.
Mm-hmm.
Gary Johnson begins a sentence and Cooper says, you say leave it to the states. Johnson, I agree with that statement, yes. So you favor repealing. Do you think prostitution is a victimless crime? Do I think currently prostitution... The victims are the prostitutes.
Oh, my God.
There are a lot of victims in prostitution currently.
Are you kidding me?
I would not make this up.
Jeez
William
Christ.
Weld then chimes in. People used to say when I brought public corruption cases, that was a victimless crime. Far from it. The public is the loser big time in those cases. You can't see the crime being committed when it happens.
Huh? He's talking about public corruption. So he didn't actually say anything about
But he's
prostitution?
comparing prostitution to public corruption. But
that's all he said?
Society is the victim.
Oh, my gosh.
Society as a whole is the victim, so we have to prosecute these people because society.
Because people who want to have sex with each other, if they exchange money for the sex... then somebody's become a victim.
But if you have a video camera in the room and you intend to distribute the final product, then all of a sudden it's okay.
Then it's pornography. Although it's illegal to make porn in a lot of jurisdictions as well.
New Hampshire has recognized, the Supreme Court of the state of New Hampshire recognized, I think it was about 5 years ago, there was a case where they recognized the right to make pornography.
New Hampshire and California, I believe, are the two states where it's explicitly legal to do so based on that. So, wow, just an embarrassing statement from both Gary Johnson and William Weld. But we'll continue with the scathing review from LouRockwell.com. As bad as Johnson's attempted clarification was about the whole gay couple cake making thing, where he says that the company should have to sell the cake but not decorate it, very strange. The true lowlight of the night came during the two opportunities Gary Johnson had to bash Hillary Clinton. In a truly strange spectacle, Johnson's face seems genuinely pained as he stammered out the suggestion that Hillary was guilty of pay to play, and a mild critique of her bloodthirsty foreign policy. It's not surprising to see Bill Weld defend his good friend, but for Gary Johnson to be so gun-shy at attacking a woman so reviled as Hillary Clinton is astonishing. It's also a major reason why I've come to label the LP nominee as Sad Sack Gary Johnson. While some have accused me of being vulgar, sad sack simply means a person who is not successful or able to do things well. And that bumbling, stumbling answer about prostitution is a perfect example of Gary Johnson. I've been caught off guard with this question about prostitution. I never would have seen that one coming.
And one thing that I think is rather interesting, I've seen a lot of memes going around talking about how Donald Trump has been friends with Hillary for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
It should be pointed out that William Weld has said that he's been a lifelong friend of Hillary ever since the 70s.
And since they were in college or something like that, or very young.
The Watergate Commission.
Yeah. very young together in D.C. 855 450 free. You can join us here. We'll talk more about this if we get the chance. Coming up, we'll give you some detail on what things are going to be like at 2016 Hempfest.
For Bitcoin to be ubiquitous, people need to use it. For people to use it, they must have it. How can we get Bitcoin into more hands? Well, tipping might be a great way. What if you could include a bonus Bitcoin tip along with your regular tip to a server? What if that Bitcoin returned to you if unclaimed after 30 days? An attractive business card-sized Bitcoin tip that is easily claimed, gives instructions on wallets, spending, and returns to the user if unused? Tip.freetalklive.com. Tip.freetalklive.com.
Here's a good idea. When you have a legal matter like creating your will or legally setting up a business with a corporation or LLC, you don't necessarily need a law firm. Use LegalZoom.com. At LegalZoom.com, you answer straightforward questions online, and they take care of the rest. They even review your answers for common mistakes and guarantee your satisfaction. Free Talk Live listeners, you'll get 10% off your order by typing in FTL in the referral box at purchase. Don't procrastinate with these important legal documents. LegalZoom.com.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Nestle Toll House Refrigerated Cookie Dough. Who would you bake some love for? Find fun and easy baking ideas at tollhouse.com. Kids love doing arts and crafts projects, especially when you join in. Try channeling all that artistic energy into the kitchen and bake up some creative treats together. Think of your art supplies as the frosting, sprinkles, and decorating gels, and use cookies or cupcakes as your canvas. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
Free Talk Live has partnered with Amazon, the largest internet retailer. Imagine a department store category, and Amazon has it. Books, electronics, office products, furniture, jewelry, automotive, toys, clothing, sporting goods, and dozens of other categories. Now you can shop and support Free Talk Live by entering Amazon through our website. Go to shop.freetalklive.com, and Amazon will send us a portion of your purchase. You're going to do the shopping anyway, so remember to enter through our site at shop.freetalklive.com. That's shop.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Friday, August 5th, 2016. Silver is trading at $20.05 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,350 per ounce. And according to BitcoinAverage.com, the average price of Bitcoin is $581. Antiwar.com reports the U.S. owes some $300 million in military reimbursements for Pakistan under the Coalition Support Fund bill, in which the Pentagon agrees to reimburse certain nations for costs incurred supporting U.S. wars. Pakistan is normally a large recipient because of the protracted U.S. occupation in Afghanistan. They're not going to be seeing that $300 million anytime soon, according to the Pentagon, however, certifying that Pakistan is still taking military action against the Haqqani network. That's not to say that Pakistan isn't doing so. Rather, Secretary Ash Carter simply does not seem to intend to certify it one way or another anytime soon, and because of that, the Pentagon can get away with just not paying the money they owe to Pakistan. Pentagon officials did, however, praise the significance of the sacrifices that the Pakistani military has undertaken to help the U.S. war effort. However, that appreciation appears to fall well short of actually reimbursing them as promised. For nearly 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. They also take Bitcoin for precious metal purchases and have permanently removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports the mayor of Stockton, California was arrested Thursday for playing strip poker with minors and giving them alcohol at a youth camp, according to police. Anthony Silva, 42, was arrested at the camp and charged with one felony count of making an illegal recording and one misdemeanor count of providing alcohol to a minor, cruelty to a child by endangering their health, and contributing to the delinquency of a minor. Silva, who was released Thursday afternoon on $20,000 bail, denied the accusations. Amador County District District Attorney Todd Reby said the incidents occurred August 7th, 2015 at the Silver Lake Camp. The camp hosts about 75 children between the ages of 5 and 17, where Silva has often hired minors to work as counselors, according to court documents. Federal agents confiscated Silva's cell phone and laptop last fall and found 23 photos and 4 video clips taken at the camp between August 3rd and August 9th of last year. One of the video clips, where the phone was put down and recorded only audio, contains a conversation between participants involved in a strip poker game that occurred in Silva's bedroom, according to the district attorney's news release. The conversation between the participants indicated they were naked, one of the participants a 16-year-old male. The game allegedly included Silva, the 16-year-old male, an 18-year-old female, a 19-year-old female, and 2 19-year-old males. In 2115 New England, there are no borders, no states, and no regulations, yet never has a more peaceful and prosperous place existed. But Mr. Drake's security company has seen better days. Faced with the prospect of waning power, Mr. Drake intends to replace the anarchy of New England with a government. But at what cost? Will anybody care? And can anyone stop him? Anarchy in New England by Joe Jarvis is available from Amazon.com and all major bookstores. Reuters reports a U.S. appeals court issued an order on Thursday denying North Carolina's motion to stay the court's decision last week, striking down the state's voter ID law. The Fourth U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals said staying its own ruling would only undermine the integrity and efficiency of the upcoming election. On Friday of last week, the court ruled that the North Carolina law, which required voters to show photo identification when casting ballots, intentionally discriminated against African American residents. Attorneys for the state, in a written motion earlier this week, asked the court to put its ruling on hold while the state appeals to the U.S. Supreme Court and seeks to overturn the decision ahead of the U.S. presidential election in November. The decision by the U.S. Appeals Court also canceled provisions of the law that scaled back early voting in the potential swing state, prevented residents from registering and voting on the same day, and eliminated the ability of voters to vote outside their assigned precinct. The order noted that North Carolina officials already said they could conduct early voting at Board of Election offices for each county in line with the ruling. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
Well, our own Rebecca Mera takes us on a tour of the Olympic Village.
We have a full-size bed, lounge area, shower, plenty of space, which is great because I'm constantly having sex in there.
The Village is a temporary home to the world's most physically impressive, athletic men and women. It was important to the Olympic Committee to give them a comfortable, state-of-the-art area to each other's brains out while they're not competing.
We have a pool where they can have a sex, a theater where they can have a sex. All these athletes are hot, horny, ready to go. They deserve the best.
I was in Vancouver where I got eaten out by this French speed skater. I have to say, these facilities are even better, and I'm going to try to a Japanese guy.
You've spared no expense.
These athletes deserve the best. They sacrifice so much for their countries. They deserve to be able to until their and can't take it anymore.
And these facilities won't go to waste. Once the Olympics are over, they'll be converted to a resort where Russian businessmen can come to their prostitutes.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It is Free Talk Live. You are invited to join us here. You can bring up anything you want. Although right now we've got a special guest on the line, and so your calls will be restricted to questions for said special guest. Of course, after that, we will open the phones up if we can, and you can talk about anything you want. That is generally the point of Free Talk Live. With you in the studio tonight, it's Ian.
And Darryl.
And also joining us from LRN Studio B, out there in Manchester, New Hampshire.
That's Rebel Love Show Studios, Ian. But it is LRN Studio B. I'll give you that.
Effectively, it is. Yeah, it's the Rebel Love Show Studios, and that's Rob Matthias from the Rebel Love Show, and he's got Rick Naya with him, who's one of the organizers of the upcoming Hempfest. Good evening, Rick.
Thank you. Welcome, everybody. Thank you, New Hampshire, and the LRN and the Rebel Love Show for welcoming New Hampshire Hempfest and Freedom Rally.
Yes, you guys have had reached out to us this summer, and after there was another event that kind of fell apart here in New Hampshire, and you said, you know what, would love to have you guys be a part of Hempfest to come up and broadcast from the event, and of course, I love the idea of Hempfest. I love Rogers Campground, and I think it's going to be an absolute blast. But let's start from the beginning. This isn't the first year of New Hampshire Hempfest, right, Rick? How did this get started?
No, this isn't our first year. This is our third year in effect. Our first year was in Croydon in 2013. And last year it was in Rubney. And this year it is in Lancaster, New Hampshire. And as you mentioned, Rogers Campground.
Now, the first 2 years, was it pretty much like a field, or was it something nice like Rogers? Because Rogers is like a really nice campground.
Right. No, right. Rogers is, according to the write-ups, one of the best RV parks in all of New England. Yeah. The original location that we had, it was at Page Farm in Croydon. And the first year that we were there, they had one bandstand, no infrastructure, no power, no water. Mm-hmm. And within the following year, they built another stand. They added a little power, and I think this year they have a little more. So they're growing the location out at Page Farm, but we outgrew that location our first year. It was just it didn't have the capacity for us at the rate of growth that we were having. And we
what was the rate of growth? How'd you go between year 1 and 2? How many people?
Right. The first year we had about 750 people.
Wow.
Last year we had
event.
Well,
Yes.
it was for a first-time event, and the reason being is that Tom Brown, our promoter and the founder of New Hampshire Hempfest and Freedom Rally, he started this out of a passion to bring legalization to New Hampshire. He had it in his heart that we need to bring attention. And he thought there'd be no better way than to do it through a festival. He's a vendor at festivals. He has been for 30 years, and he knows a lot of people in the festival arena. So that's how it kicked off quite well. I found out about the event, jumped on as a VIP sponsor. I sponsored all the VIP tents and all the tenting that we had at the first year. Mm-hmm. And that's how I got involved. And I had been an activist with New Hampshire Normal and Erica Goltler. And I worked
that's where I first started seeing you, was at the State House. You would come to a lot of the cannabis bills and testify with a lot of gusto. You really care about this issue. And
Here are some facts. And then the legislators are like, we don't care about the facts because the police gave us this study. And I know that you've given us 20 more studies, but we've not read those. We read the one the police gave us.
Yeah. Right. Darryl, you got a good point. I think a lot of people in the country that sat back and became the echoes of the industry in cannabis, we always made an echo. Yeah, we should do this and we should do that. And we need to make changes. But what happened was nobody really took up the banner, the drum, the trombone, and make a parade out of it. And that's basically what I did with the event. I knew that we had something that had potential, and I grew up at a racetrack as a young kid and helping and watching it grow throughout the years, and starting out with a few hundred and growing up into 50,000 people. So I know what it's like to be around large crowds. And I know my background, knowing that this cause meant so much to me, that Tom pursued me after watching me speak down at the State House, where I met you, Ian, in fact, and Darryl as well. I bet you both at the State House.
Yes.
But that's where it all started. Tom saw me speaking at the State House with that fervor that I speak of, with the banner and running up and letting people know, no, this has to be heard. And we did it at an educated level. We didn't do it with bullhorns at a 420 rally.
Right.
What we did is went right into the house and made friends. And as we're taught as kids, you win people through their tummies and their souls. What better way to win them through music and a festival?
Well, music is what speaks to people for sure, and I think it's of course a great idea. Now, you went from 750 the first year. You moved to a new venue in year 2. How many people showed up in year 2?
Year 2, we had 1,750 people came.
It was a huge event. I was there last year, and the amount of crowds that they had, especially Friday and Saturday night, was absolutely amazing.
Tremendous.
Second-year event.
Yeah, for a second-year event, it really did kind of take off. Now, mind you, I didn't become the executive director and the owner of New Hampshire Hempfest until 1 year ago on June 13th. Tom had called me and begged me again. He had been begging me for a year, please help me, Mr. Naya. Mr. Naya, can you help me? He happened to call me on one of those days, and I told him, I said, listen, you son of a gun, you don't know who I am, but I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to take this event. We're going to make it one of the best in the nation. And Tom snickered, and he laughed, and he goes, "Man, this takes 7 to 10 years, buddy. You don't know this industry like I do." And I told him, "You don't know me." And that's what we did, basically. I took this bull by the horns and drove it to the place of the upper echelons in our industry. We were awarded by Cannabis Now America's top 10 cannabis business events of 2016. We placed number 8. Now, mind you, this is only a 2-year.
That's huge.
Exactly, a 2-year event. Some of these events have been around 40, 45 years.
Yeah.
Our name was in the running with Seattle and the Washington Hempfest, the San Diego and the Orlando. Wow. There were so many festivals. An international conference of cannabis was there. The largest symposium of cannabis events in New York was there on the list. So if you go look at the list and you see our name on there, I have to be honest with everybody, it brought me to my knees. It brought a tear to my eye. I couldn't believe the hard work that I put in, and so many people that pushed and pushed and pushed, and those echoes that I kept hearing driving, and I knew people like Linda Horan, who passed away. A lot of people who were very sick needed help, and I just knew, man, we've got to do this. And it was just, I utterly lost a relationship over it. I slept maybe 2, 3, 4 hours a day. I would work nonstop.
It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work to put on a big event like this. And this event is shaping up to be huge. I'm just looking at nhhempfest.com right now, and the list of bands is tremendous. I don't know how many you've got going here, but it looks like dozens and dozens.
Well, there's dozens and dozens. We have over 42 bands and serenading bands that will be playing at the VIP tent. And some of the bands that we have here, and mind you, all of them start out in a garage in their bedroom. Mm-hmm. Somebody has to give somebody a shot. Some of these bands are worldwide, nationally acclaimed bands. Others are regional bands who are really making waves on a national level now, and some still play regional and within the New England area. And we go as far as to having people who just need a leg up.
All right, throw out some of these names. I mean, I don't know. I am a talk radio guy, so
Twiddle is going to be there, and they are fantastic.
They're people are amazing. Talking, they're raging on Twiddle now. But quite frankly, we start off at the top with Dopapod. They're a nationally acclaimed set of musicians, all trained and educated professionals who are musicians. And these guys play the indie-type rock music that everybody's used to, like Fish. Mm-hmm. They're very well known around the nation. People just don't recognize the name. I guess a lot of times you hear Dopapod, you wonder what? But when you hear the music, immediately you know, oh, my God, they're that good. And then Twiddle, again, a Vermont-based band, a New England classic bar band, started out maybe 10 years ago, and now they're playing the Red Rocks, and they're playing all over the country. Wow. And they're opening, and they're a fantastic band. Their music, I got to admit it, it's almost 1-0. You don't hear anything quite like Twiddle. They're not like Fish, and they're not like Dopapod. They're not like Pigeons playing ping pong. They're not like any of them. They got their own sound. It's very unique to New England.
Dozens of bands. Rick, stand by. We're going to bring you back. I figure you've got time for more than one segment with us here on this. So stand by. Rick Naya is with us. One of the key guys behind the NH Hempfest and Freedom Rally that is coming up in just a couple of weeks from now. This is Free Talk Live.
All right, listen up, because this is the most important thing you're going to hear all day. What if I said you could make money flipping houses without any cash, credit, or manual labor? And what if I said you could do it part-time from the comfort of your home? Sound unflippin' believable? Hi, I'm Preston Neely, and I'm going to prove it by sending you a free copy of my smash hit selling book, How to Get Rich in Real Estate. It sells online for $19.95, but I'm giving away free copies this week. To get one before they're gone, call 1-800-960-4295. I used to be so broke. I had my electricity shut off 9 times, but I figured out a simple way to make money flipping houses without even breaking a sweat. Now I'm living the good life, and so should you. Listen, if you're sick and tired of stressing about money, this book could change your life. Hands down, it's the fastest, easiest way to get started in real estate. Let me prove it. Call right now to find out how to get your free book. When they're gone, they're gone. Call 1-800-960-4295. 1-800-960-4295.
You
haven't experienced yogurt until you've tried a Mossy, embodying health and flavor in a true whole milk, green-fed dairy beverage. Every sip pays homage to our old world cows and the ancient culturing methods their milk benefits from. With over 30 probiotics, a Mossy's undeniably nutritious, refined, cultured sensation bolsters your health and awakens your passion for dairy. A Mossy's so good, and you need to try it. Contact your Youngevity distributor or call 877-878-4203 or go to gcnteam.com.
Are you living your passion? Are you pumped to go to work because you get to talk about or work with or do the things that interest you the most? Is working, playing, and relaxing one and the same? As long as you're working for someone else, you'll never be living entirely true to yourself and your passion. I'm Pharmacist Keith. Let me show you how you can work around your current schedule, create the extra income so you can live your passion. Visit radio.recordedvideo.com. That's radio.recordedvideo.com. radio.recordedvideo.com.
Is spreading the message of liberty and peace around the globe worth 15 cents per day to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. Last year, we did a fundraiser that successfully covered the costs of continuing our African channel. This year, we're hoping to raise enough to fund a new satellite signal that will cover Europe, North Africa, and much of the Middle East. You can donate as much or as little as you like via the Indiegogo campaign at fund.lrn.fm. And there are perks available like sitting in on your favorite LRN.FM show, exclusive shiny badges, or even naming a satellite channel. Please contribute now at fund.lrn.fm and help us continue our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. The fundraiser ends August 19th, so please visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. That's fund.lrn.fm.
The three most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share one episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love, but make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com.
Are you a political activist who does things that the government might not like? Then this free ebook may save your life. Rats is your guide to protecting yourself against snitches, informers, informants, agents provocateur, narcs, finks, and similar vermin. Rats was written by OG libertarian Claire Wolfe. Rats is a short book, easy to read, and available free in many formats. Download Rats free at rats-nosnitch.com. That's rats-nosnitch.com.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air, and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is Free Talk Live. You may join us here toll-free, 855-450-FREE. If you've got a question about New Hampshire Hempfest, we have the chief organizer on the line with us here via Skype, via the Rebel Love Show studios in Manchester. He's also joined by Rob Matthias from said Rebel Love Show. Welcome back, gentlemen.
How's it going, Ian?
Hey, real quick, I want to mention Bitcoin.com. It is your premier source for everything Bitcoin related. You can get help buying Bitcoins. Maybe you're completely new to Bitcoins. It's the perfect website for you. Or if you're old hat at Bitcoin, you've been around for a long time, you'll appreciate the excellent news coverage from Bitcoin.com. Maybe you haven't yet chosen your favorite Bitcoin wallet. There's a bunch of different options there. Of course, we recommend Jaxx. You can even engage with the Bitcoin community on the Bitcoin forum over at bitcoin.com. And unlike some Bitcoin communities, this one is not censored. You can even find places to spend your Bitcoin, play online games with the cryptocurrency. It is the source for all your Bitcoin needs and news. That's bitcoin.com. So, Rick, welcome back here, and Rob. Rick, you're putting together a New Hampshire Hempfest. You're expecting a huge crowd of people. Last year, which was just year number 2, you had 1,700 people attending, up from 750 in the first year. You're expanding now to what is the largest campground in all of New Hampshire.
That's correct. They have over 3,500 RV and campsites total at the location, as you know.
Well, no, not that many sites, but it could hold that many people.
It can hold up to 3,500 plus. Depends how they park the cars. Yep.
Right. So
we're going to more than double in size here. What's important to know is that in the first year, our growth in percentages on Facebook. We started out, when I started out looking at the Hempfest page, there was 383 members. By the end of my first tenure, we're almost 12,000 members.
Yeah,
it's pretty good.
In a year?
Yep. That's pretty darn good.
If you're not a rock star or a baseball star or someone that's already famous, it doesn't happen. This is an event. And when you look at the statistics of events around the nation and how many people like the pages, we are the number 4 most viewed festival in the nation.
And you're talking about just of Hempfests?
No, just festivals, concert festivals in the nation. When people go to click and like and go to see festivals, ours is the 4th most viewed. Harry Brown's is 3rd, 2nd is the Great North, and the number 1 most viewed is the hippie bus. I can't remember the name of the number 1 page view, but it has over 40,000 likes.
Now you've got 40-something bands loaded up for this thing. How many stages is that going to be? Because this is a 4-day event.
We have one large stage, right? We have one large stage. We don't like to rack out different stages because it actually detracts with the size of the crowd that we have.
I agree.
Right. So by doing it with one stage, we allow guest speakers to come on stage between the band changes, and we also have a number of different events that are going on side stage, during stage. We have guest speakers from the House of Representatives: Joe LaChance, Ted Wright, John Burt, Glenn Allred, Leon Allred, Right Out. And we also have Adam Schroeder, Matt Simon from MPP. Remy Cushing will be speaking, who is the attorney that helped Linda Horan, the woman who passed away, who was fighting for her rights to get her cannabis card. Because we had so many problems at DHHS.
So this is more than just a concert. This is
no, this is one of the largest cannabis business events in the nation. It's that simple. We're a rock concert festival, and we're a cannabis business event. We have all forms of sponsors from around the country that are going to be here. From Dank Dolls, Halogen Media will be there, Palativity will be there, the New Hampshire Cannabis Foundation is there, Mile High Medical Products is there.
What about the food? Everybody's going to want to eat when they're stoned. So
absolutely. Well, we do have a number of different vendors this year, and some actually unusual ones that'll be on site this year. We have our classics, like when you go to a carnival, you have your sausage and hamburgers, and then we have some fire roasted pizzas, and we have some vegan food as well. We have a lot of healthier alternatives this year because things are changing, and I hope maybe someday we might get paleo, and I'm hoping to have the bulletproof coffee that our lovely friend from the festivals and our family in the Liberty Network will be there serving, and I'm looking forward to that. So, we're going to have a good time at Hempfest this year. Plenty of food, plenty of good times. We're going to have a farmer's market from the region. The North Country is going to have a farmer's market there. We have a Mystics Art Village as well as Poi Fire.
A Mystic what village?
We have a Mystics Art Village.
Oh, Mystics Art. Okay.
Yeah.
Darryl, you've got a question for Rick.
I do, and I know how sound travels at Rogers Campground, especially if there's a band, because the pavilion is down in like a valley sort of thing, and sound travels out from that. And I know, you want to have the bands and you want them to be heard, but you also said that this is going to be like a business convention that has a rock concert going on. Is sound going to be an issue if people are trying to converse in, like the camping areas? Because I know, at the Porcupine Freedom Festival that we have experience attending, there are times when a band is playing that's all you can hear anywhere in the campground.
No, but literally after you walk into like where Agora Valley is at Rogers from PorcFest, in that area, anything like a row or two in, you'll be able to talk with music still playing. Like in my opinion,
I don't think
just my experience from last year's Hempfest. Like all you gotta do is walk around the stage, like walk to the side, and then like you're good. It's more directional. Like,
it'll be a challenge broadcasting from the event, but I think we're still going to have a blast with it anyway. Now, and we are we should mention this. Free Talk Live is going to be live at the event Thursday, Friday, Saturday night. We're going to be there live 7 to 10. So really looking forward to that. You do have to have the VIP ticket in order to get in to the broadcast room, just because this is such a big event. They just can't open it up to everybody. So tickets are still available. When do the tickets stop selling on the website? You know that?
usually the day before the event. Yeah, because we'll be out there all week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, getting everything set up and geared up for all the vendors and, all the bands and everything prepped and ready for, the revelers to begin showing up Thursday morning.
Tell me about the Freedom Cup, Rick. This is something that's new to Hempfest this year, and it sounds really special. What's that all about?
Well, I'm glad that you asked that. Not only is it new to Hempfest, but it's a history-making event for New Hampshire. This will be the first time in New Hampshire that a cannabis event has ever been done, and we have vendors from all over the nation that have contributed to an off-site source that'll have everything tested and everything prepped so that when the judges do their judging and the awards are handed out, it'll be completely separate from the venue. So everything is it's so awesome the way that we're handling this that I just can't wait to give out the hand-blown goblets that Josh Holbrook of the Glass Hollow is blowing for these the different awards. And the awards are sativa, indica, hybrid. We have a BHO and a hash category and a rosin category.
What is BHO?
Yeah, butane hash oil. Look, but just to be clear here, and we can get into more detail about this in a moment, Darryl.
There's a woman's category as well that I wanted to emphasize. So that
you're talking about a cannabis cup. I mean, this is the Freedom Cup is your version of the Netherlands Cannabis Cup, right?
It's exactly correct. This is New Hampshire's first ever form of anything like this.
And it's actually technically civil disobedience, so stand by.
Well, I can't wait to share this with you. I can't wait to...
Hold on. We're going to come back to you here. Rick Naya is with us, with Rob Mathias from the Rebel Love Show studios here. And this is Free Talk Live. If you got a question about Hempfest, get on the line right now, 855-450-FREE. That's our toll-free number. You can join us here. This is Free Talk Live.
There are a lot of things in life that are hard to swallow, but your minerals don't have to be one of them. CRSupplements.com liquid minerals make that easy. The same size that a plant hair root absorbs, CRSupplements.com liquid minerals are easy for your body to use, and they are easy for you to add to daily liquid intake. Made in the USA and kosher certified, we offer 21 different minerals that may be lost in food processing or don't exist in foods grown on depleted soils. Choose easy. Get easy to swallow liquid minerals from CRSupplements.com.
So you've got to take a state construction license exam or certification. Can't decide on what books or what chapters to study? Discover right now how you can eliminate unnecessary books and wasted study time. At contractorexam.com, our study materials zero in on state-required test topics in an effective, multiple-choice format. So whether you're a plumber, electrician, general contractor, or other construction-related trade, contractorexam.com will help get you prepared. Visit us at www.contractorexam.com today.
Okay, nurse, let's get this man to the ER stat.
Right away, doctor.
We see this every day. Heart attack or angina pain due to blocked and clogged arteries. Chelation can remove obstructions or blockages from arteries and help avoid painful and expensive surgery. Now there's Angioprim. It's a liquid oral chelation product that you take with juice. You start to feel the results fast. Angioprim increases blood flow all over the body, and that means more energy and strength to take on the day with less aches and pains. 60 years of research has gone into chelation, and Angioprim is the result. A safe and easy way to unblock your veins and arteries from buildup that slow circulation.
Paging Dr. Jones. Please report to the emergency room right away.
Log on now for a special radio offer from Angioprim. That's angioprim.com/radio. ANGIOPRIM. Angioprim.com/radio or call 877-882-7221. That's 877-882-7221.
This is your Robertson Roberts Brokerage Daily Precious Metals Update. In early trading Thursday, gold is $4 higher at $1,362 per ounce. Silver is 10 cents lower at $20.36 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at $575 US. Gold and silver have been quietly outperforming the stock market all this year. Perhaps it's time for you to diversify your savings. Call Robertson Roberts Brokerage at 800-874-9760 or visit us online at rrbi.co.
Did you know you can watch Free Talk Live during our live show 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cams at cam.freetalklive.com? Plus, you can chat with other listeners while you watch, all totally free. Now that our live video stream is hosted by YouTube, our video archives will be online even faster, so be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com.
Free Press Publications is an independent, alternative media and publishing company founded in June 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and liberty. FPP also gives new authors an avenue for publishing freedom-oriented material. FPP brings you daily news and commentary on the website fpp.cc, as well as a daily 5-minute newscast, FPP Radio News, and weekly news, views, and commentary in the FPP Freedom Minute and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio at fppradio.com, and the monthly newspaper FPP News at news.fpp.cc. Find FPP online at fpp.cc. That's fpp.cc, as in Creative Commons.
While our satellite channel is free to listen to, it's not free for us. You can help us cover our satellite costs with the chip-in on the right side of the page at lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You may join us here. We're talking about cannabis. The New Hampshire Hempfest is coming up 3 weeks from tonight. We're going to be there broadcasting live at Rogers Campground. You can join us August 25th through the 28th. It's Lancaster, New Hampshire. Rogers Campground is a fantastic, beautiful location to spend any amount of time, and this is going to be an awesome weekend packed full of dozens of bands. You can go to nhhempfest.com to see the list and also all kinds of other cool stuff, including a farmer's market, the Freedom Cup, which we just started talking with Rick Naya about. He's one of the organizers. Also want to let you know about the Free Talk Live LRN Audio On Demand line. You can call up 641-793-9660, and you can listen not just to Free Talk Live On Demand, but also The Rebel Love Show and close to a dozen of the great LRN.FM original liberty-oriented shows on your schedule anytime you want. The number is 641-793-9660. You don't have to spend your data on this because it's just a phone call. So if you've got unlimited long distance, this call costs you nothing to make. And, of course, you can listen to the LRN feed live as well. So call up 641-793-9660. And if you want to leave us feedback, you can do that too. When you select Free Talk Live from the main menu, press 0. You can leave us a message, and it'll be delivered right into our email boxes. So that's 641-793-9660 for the Liberty Radio Network Audio On Demand listen line. As we go back to the Rebel Love Studios in Manchester, where we do have Rob Mathias as well as Rick Naya. Welcome back, gentlemen.
We're here.
Thank you. Yep, we're here. Again, I want to go back to that civil disobedience thing. You know, you're talking about that. Well, remember something. This is not just an event. We have this year, and I'm super honored and I'm extremely proud of these citizens in New Hampshire stepping up. We have a congressman-select, Jim Rubens, that'll be a guest speaker for us. We also have what we believe, and from the statistics and the way things are going, that Frank Edelblut will become our new governor of New Hampshire, will be speaking with us. A slew of different other senators and House representatives will be there.
It's nice to see politicians who are normally cowardly creatures getting out behind or in this parade of cannabis decriminalization. It really just, or legalization. It really just shows that this issue, its time has finally come.
Right, and there was a recent poll done by WMUR here in New Hampshire that found that, 60% of New Hampshire voters that were surveyed said that they support some form of legalization of cannabis?
That's correct, and over 70% want it decriminalized.
Excellent.
It's a crazy state of affairs when you got mostly Republicans, especially Republican governor candidates, speaking at New Hampshire Hempfest and Freedom Rally about making cannabis legal in New Hampshire, when the Democrats they're not even close to it. Wait a minute.
There will be at least
hold
one
on.
Democratic...
I want to cut in here. I want to give a little credit to the Democrats. I just mentioned it.
Okay.
There is a candidate out there running, and we have to give credit where credit's due and credence is due. This guy's out there running it, and his name is Steve Mashad. He's really out there, and his conviction is he wants to fully legalize that. He's not coming out like those of us, a little more reserved. Let's just decrim, do some more studying, make sure shit's balancing out, and then start bringing in the industrialization.
Well, just to clarify, Rick, there are at least 3 Democratic candidates for governor who support cannabis, either decrim or legalization. I do. I'm one of them. I'm running, and
I thought you were independent. I'm sorry.
I'm running as a Democrat, and then also
Derek
Dexter.
Dextrace.
That's
right.
Derek Dextrace. Yes.
Yes, that's true. All right. Well, remember the name that I gave, and Frank. These are names that the national committees are already sponsoring and supporting. So those are the names that you have to critically look at. There are underdogs out there like yourselves and the other candidates. But when we're looking at the forefront now and the big picture,
by the way, Marshan's got like 2 points ahead of me or something, or 3 points ahead of me in the most recent poll.
Ian, not enough. Not enough. You've got a chance, you know?
I don't really have a
Everybody's
chance.
got a chance.
Well, 70% of potential Democratic voters right now are saying they don't know who they're going to vote for.
Yeah, that's true.
And the election is in about a month and a week.
The politicians are a sideshow for this event. I mean, the real attraction here is the community, the people that are going to be there, and the bands.
The volunteers, the bands, the staff. Our staff, if you go on our website and our Facebook page, you'll see the gifts that Rob's been putting together for us for our staff, individuals, outstanding individuals that support the event. Our disabled community was represented in the gift, the Twiddle event. We've been putting together, in fact, from what I'm hearing around the country, our webpage, our Facebook page is the best page for festivals right now.
All right, Rick, hold that thought. I want to get to Neil. He's been waiting here on the lines from Golden Shores.
But before we do that, I just want to make sure that we do wind up finding out what Rick had teased about some special announcement about a female category of something. But
okay, we'll get to the
the
female thing here in a moment, because there are going to be women at Hempfest, so that's always a good thing. Let's talk first, though, to Neil. Neil, you're on the line with Rick Naya from New Hampshire Hempfest, and Neil is actually calling us from Arizona, listening to K-Talks. Go ahead, Neil.
Yeah, hi guys, how you doing?
Hey there. Go ahead.
Like you, I firmly believe that cannabis should be fully legalized. But, I moved to Arizona 15 years ago from Bellflower, California. We're out there, an ounce or less was basically just a traffic ticket. And then I moved here, and then you get caught with a roach out here. It's a felony, which is ridiculous.
Wow.
Yep.
That's crazy.
They can pull you over in Arizona and give you a piss test and your analysis, and if you have any form of cannabinoids in your system, woo, take them down.
All right, go ahead with your thoughts or question, Neil.
So for the last 15 years, I've kind of been staying away from it because I don't need a felony. But I can tell you one thing. A friend of mine came by last night, and he brought a couple of buds that had a lot of purple in it. And I took 2 bong hits off of that thing, and I was down for 13 hours, man. I mean, this isn't the kind of
you must
weed
have a
that
low
you
tolerance
spend $10
compared to
for
me.
a 4-finger lid.
He lost his tolerance level after all those years of being scared. Maybe you should move to New Hampshire and be an advocate here.
Well, that's one of the things that happens with prohibition. That's one of the things that happens with prohibition is things become more potent. It's how various forms of really potent alcohol came about during alcohol prohibition.
Concentrates.
Yeah. Because people wanted to concentrate it because the penalties come about because of the overall weight, not the potency.
Neil, thanks for the call tonight, man. I appreciate hearing from you. And if you can make it up to...
I just want...
Yes, sir.
I just want to let you know it's the best sleeping pill you could ever take.
Right on, brother. If you can make it up to Hempfest here in New Hampshire, we'd love to see you, and thanks for the call tonight. I appreciate that. All right, so what was the tease about female?
Yeah, we have a category within the Freedom Cup this year. It's a female category within the same. So women can also enter the Freedom Cup. We want to represent the women. You know, without women, where would we all be? Nowhere, right?
So what does it mean to have a female category? Is that they female growers?
Yeah, there are female growers out in the industry that are going to be that are sponsored already. They made their donations. They're in the different categories, and when the judges do their testing, all blindly, the awards will go out.
Very exciting.
All right. And then I was looking on the website, and I thought you were going to mention something else. Apparently, there's body painting.
We do. Yeah, we have 25 female women, females that will be body painted. too. Yeah. So, yeah.
Hopefully the females are women.
Well, there's males as well. They're models.
Yeah. They're lucky I'm not going to be doing that because I'm going to be busy recording. But I would have signed up for the new body painting in a heartbeat. I would have loved to have done that around.
I got a feeling Rob might do some extracurricular painting.
Well, he's going to be busy because he's getting married. That's one of the other things.
Yep, that's another thing, ladies and gentlemen. You need to know something, that in New Hampshire's history, there's never been a wedding this large at one event of its kind ever. This is history making.
It's going to be huge. It's going to be on the south lawn of Rogers Campground. We got we're going to have we have like 50 some plus tapestries. Everybody's going to be sitting on tapestries. There's a hoop dance, a poem. Derek J's going to be doing a poem at my wedding. Rick Naya is going to do a love sermon. And then right after that, the headlining act, Zach Deputy, is going to be leading a procession through the campground to our tent site with a wedding party and all the guests behind it. It's an event you don't want to miss. Like, it's going to be huge.
Also, when Zach opens up on stage, there's going to be another little something that we're going to do. There's going to be a lot of special things going on. We also have the New Hampshire Hempfest Pinup Girls.
I want to hear more about that. Hold that thought. Rick Naya is with us. Rob Matthias from the Rebel Love Show. And if you've got a question about Hempfest or just cannabis, whatever in general, you can call in 855-450-FREE. This is Free Talk Live.
Every once in a while, you get information that's worth changing your life for. This is one such time. You can save up to and beyond 25% on all purchases at Amazon. You probably heard of Bitcoin and just not thought much about it. You certainly know that you can get competitive pricing at Amazon, but now you can get a 25% discount on nearly everything you need to live. I've just given you a huge raise, and all you have to do is claim it. You go to saveitpurse.com and open an account. Do this right now. Don't wait. Then you fund the account with Bitcoin. You can buy them through expresscoin.com with a check or money order. There are other ways to get Bitcoin, but that's fast, safe, and easy. This information is worth you changing the way you do things. Go to saveitpurse.com right now, get signed up, and cash in on the huge raise I'm offering you. 15 to 25% off of everything at Amazon through saveitpurse.com. It's saveatpurse.com.
We all know that Berkey water purification systems are the most trusted name in water filtration. As an authorized Berkey dealer for over 6 years and serving thousands of satisfied customers, the Berkey Guy offers amazing specials for Berkey water filtration systems. The Berkey Light systems include a set of self-sterilizing and recleanable black purification elements that purify water by removing chlorine, pathogenic bacteria, cysts, and parasites to non-detectable levels and remove harmful chemicals such as herbicides and pesticides. Order the Berkey Light system today, complete with 2 black Berkey elements for only $231, and the Berkey Guy will ship your order free of charge. With the purchase of a Berkey Light, the Berkey Guy is also offering a set of fluoride and arsenic filters for only $39.99. That's over 30% off the retail price. Call the Berkey Guy at 1-877-886-3653. That's 1-877-886-3653. Or order online at goberkey.com. That's goberkey.com today.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com. For years, LRN.FM has had a listen line that you can call and listen to LRN.FM anytime. Now we're taking the idea to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on-demand line. You can call 641-793-9660 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed, and you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long-distance fees may apply. Just dial 641-793-9660 and choose from the menu. 641-793-9660.
If you want to move to the free state and
you're looking for some real estate.
Oof, I think we've all had enough of that jingle, don't you? If you're going to invest in property in New Hampshire, it just makes sense to support a Liberty-friendly realtor. Call Mark Warden of Team Porcupine Real Estate for investment property or rentals in the Free State, or visit his website. Come on, you know it.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You're invited here. You can dial in here toll free, 855-450-FREE. You should have a question, though, that relates to cannabis, or specifically Hempfest, which is what we've been talking about, the New Hampshire Hempfest and Freedom Rally. It's the third year. This year, it's moving to Rogers Campground in northern New Hampshire. It's a beautiful location. We've been there a number of times for a different festival in the past, and I'm super excited that Free Talk Live is going to be broadcasting live every night from New Hampshire Hempfest. We have with us on the line from the Rebel Love Show studios over in Manchester, we've got Rick Naya, who is the key organizer for the event, as well as Rob Mathias from the Rebel Love Show. We've been talking about a lot of the different things that are going to be happening at Hempfest. It's a 4-day event. This thing is chock full of things to do. You will not be you'll never be bored at New Hampshire Hempfest the way this schedule's rounding out. Go ahead. Anything else you want to highlight? Oh, yeah, we're going to talk about the pinup girls.
Oh, yes, our pinup girls. What we did originally, and it was kind of short notice, we pulled together some of the most beautiful girls in New Hampshire. We put a gift together and sent it out. And originally what we were going to do is put them in genre outfits from the 60s to the 2000s. So every 10 years, you get the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and the 2000s. Everybody wearing like the go-go, the bell-bottoms, the punk girl, the Madonna, and then, get in the 2000s with the garters and, the so forth. And what happened was we couldn't get a designer that could handle the volume of clothing that we need to have done in such a short period of time. So what we did is we got a new sponsor, South Shore Swimwear, and she has a tremendous array of different forms of swimwear and attire that's quite that's not that overly revealing and not underly, and it's sexy and it's classy. So she has a lot of nice items that she's going to assist us with and have our pinup girls do a catwalk during one of the ceremonies, or probably midday Saturday, and then the girls will host our VIPs in the pavilions, because there are 2 pavilions. We have a rear pavilion and a 30 by 60 tent that's for VIP only, where we'll have serenades in the evening and different acts and events and art hung in the tent throughout the days, and it's going to be quite the scene this year. We have a huge double-barrel smoke cannon that John Ball is having made that's going to be shooting huge smoke rings across the field. We have one of the largest UV forests that's going to ever be implemented in New England.
Whoa, okay, slow down for a moment.
I'm a huge GDM fan. I can't wait to see this UV.
Yeah, tell me what that means. I mean, because
let's go, here, I'll show you. I'll tell you. Imagine going to a bar and you got your band jamming, and then they got the guy with the laser light going doo 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 doo, and all the lights going on, and you're like, yeah, this is rocking, right? Well, put that on a stage for Michael Jackson ×3 and bring it out in the forest and let it rip. And that's exactly what we're going to do.
It sounds awesome. I was sitting there
we
when
have 6 different artists bringing in all types of lasers and UV lights, and we have a coalition. Listen, we have one of the best immersive light technology gurus in the industry.
Right.
Little Village, Lucian Emerson, is putting together a team of video gurus to put together one of the best effects on stage and in our UV forest that's ever happened in New England.
Yeah, I met him at your house when you guys were, having a meeting about Hempfest, and just what his vision sounded pretty amazing, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what it looks like in reality. I mean, it sounds like it's going to be absolutely beautiful and stunning, and
it's kind of like the gifts that Rob's been putting together, our groovy background. It's going to be like that on the panoramic sides of the stage and the backdrops of it.
Yeah, so for those that have been at Rogers before, like basically the northern part of the campground up up near the top area by the pool and whatnot. That's where the correct me if I'm wrong. That's where the UV forest is going to be.
Yeah, behind out back where the camping is.
Yeah, so there's going to be a section of camping that is taken away for this UV forest.
Now, is the what's the camping scene going to be like? Because as my understanding, you guys are changing it up a little bit because normally Rogers will rent out specific plots, but you're going to be doing it differently?
What happened initially is because, Rogers doesn't understand. They've never thrown a festival, but they've thrown a number of different events, and they have a lot of, they have their campsite specifically designed. Initially, what we had tried to explain to them, festival's a little different. Your campsites are huge. You can put 2 cars in there and 2 sites or 2 or 3 in some of those. And they agreed at first of what's called allotment camping. You pull in, hi, I'm a camper. Okay, see that guy? Go over there. They'll put you in your spot. You park here. Next.
Right.
Just like when you go to a fair. They
first
put
come,
you
first serve kind of thing.
They park you. They first come. They serve you at the location that's next. That's allotted. Just like when you go into a fair, you don't get to park where you want to. They make you park in specific spots, and that's that. And that would have worked great because that's how it's done at all large festivals. Well, Rogers is choosing to go the route of rent the whole space, and we'll see how good you guys do kind of outlook.
I see. Okay.
And I think what's going to happen is we're going to have a surprise that we'll overcome when we get there. They're wonderful people. The location's a great spot. The campers and the fans and the revelers will all have a great time. It is the best place for vibes. When you look at the view from the upper side, looking down on the pavilion. Now, mind you, you guys haven't seen it with a stage set out in front of the pavilion that's down below. But imagine that with a stage out front, all lit up, looking at the mountain views behind you.
Yeah, it's
behind
the
stage.
View.
It's going to be amazing.
Yeah, it really is.
Suffice to say, you're not going to be able to sleep throughout that whole weekend. There's always something going on at Hempfest that's going to take your eye, and you're not going to want to go to bed at all throughout that whole weekend.
Yeah, it's going to be a wonderful time. I cannot wait to share with the Lancaster Community Food Bank, and please, everybody, remind everybody to bring
this is important, right? The food donation. Tell us about that.
Well, we have 2. What we have, and the way we've worked it out, because throughout the last number of years, we've always worked with Strangers Helping Strangers. They're a very large national organization that works with festivals and different communities to help bring donations to the local food banks, local communities to share. So what we did is initially we contacted the Lancaster Community Food Bank, and we agreed to, open up a food drive for them, and they agreed to it, and we put them on our logo, and everybody knows that they're part of it. And then a few weeks ago, the folks from Strangers Helping Strangers contacted us and asked if they could help. And I said, you know what? Why not? It's all about the love and the giving. So Strangers Helping Strangers will be taking the donations at the gate and then taking them to the local food bank for us and working with the local community. And so I'm really excited to have
everybody has to have a donation to get in, right? You have to have a can.
You can't. Yeah, no one is allowed. You won't be permitted access onto the property without either giving a financial donation.
Okay.
It could be a nickel, a quarter, a dime, a penny, a dollar, or a canned good. We're trying to give something back to the community. Not only are we giving free passes to, I think it's about 100 homes within the surrounding area.
Oh, wow. Cool.
So that the music and the sound won't bother them. We're inviting them to the event. All of the year-long tenants at Rogers Campground that have their campers there all year, they're also welcome to come to the event.
It's going to be a huge party. We got Tim on the line in Wyoming, listening online via TuneIn. Tim, you're on Free Talk Live with Rick Naya from Hempfest.
Hey, Rick. Thanks, Ian, for taking my call. I appreciate it. Now, I'm wondering, I was just listening to Michael Dean, or what's his name, the guy that does Freedom Fiends?
Yep, Michael Dean from Freedom Fiends. Yep.
That's right. Yeah, I think it was about a week ago or something like that. He was talking about how Wyoming, as I said, I'm in Wyoming, where if you have an ounce of marijuana, it's a felony. I had no idea that was the case, but there is a cannabis oil derivative regulation or law. I mean, I suppose that, there's an allowance, so to speak. That, being just north of Colorado, you'd think that they'd be a little more lenient as far as that goes. But I'm wondering now, this is a question for you, Rick. What would a person do if they were to try to start something in a straight-laced conservative state such as Wyoming?
Thanks for the call,
how would a
Tim.
person go about
Appreciate
it. That's a great question, and I want to let and I thank you for asking something like that. Like any citizen in the United States, I think what it really comes down to is, are you going to be a voice or are you going to be an echo? Are you going to stand up and bring it to the state house or the legislator that you're electing, or are you going to elect yourself to be the voice? That's what we did. About 7.5, 8 years ago, there was a number of us that just had enough. We had enough. Enough was all enough's enough. And finally, Rich Paul decides, hey, we're going to throw a 420 rally in Naya. And yeah, oh yeah, let's do this. So he and I founded the 420 Foundation and decided, let's go down there and rock them. So Rich goes down there with a bullhorn, running it out loud in front of the State House. And after that first event, my eyes were like, what? Hey, buddy, you got to calm down. We can't do it that way. We got a better approach. And we have to have a better approach. Now, that's where I came into the
Well, we got to have
equation
all of
things.
the approaches, and there's a lot of different
I agree.
options out there. We're short on time here, Rick. Gosh, thanks so much for coming and spending the whole last hour of the show with us. I really appreciate it. I think that we've given a taste of what this event may be like for people who are thinking about attending.
Righto.
And your tickets are available right now at nhhempfest.com. We're going to be there. We'll see you there. It's happening August 25th through the 28th, so literally 3 weeks from tonight. Get your tickets. Start planning to get up here, whether you're going to be camping in an RV or in a tent. You're welcome, and we'll look forward to seeing you, or you can hang out in a hotel down the road. It's up to you, but we'll see you there at nhhempfest.com. Thanks, Rick. Thanks, Rob. Appreciate it.
Love you, man.
And thank you, Darryl Perry, and we'll see you tomorrow night online. In the meantime, freetalklive.com.
Every once in a while, you get information that's worth changing your life for. This is one such time. You can save up to and beyond 25% on all purchases at Amazon. You probably heard of Bitcoin and just not thought much about it. You certainly know that you can get competitive pricing at Amazon, but now you can get a 25% discount on nearly everything you need to live. I've just given you a huge raise, and all you have to do is claim it. You go to saveitpurse.com and open an account. Do this right now. Don't wait. Then you fund the account with Bitcoin. I know this sounds unbelievable, but at my house, we saved as much as 45% off of a new item on Amazon. This information is worth you changing the way you do things. Go to saveitpurse.com right now, get signed up, and cash in on the huge raise I'm offering you. 15 to 25% off of everything at Amazon through saveatpurse.com. It's saveatpurse.com. Are you tired of governments around the world killing innocent people? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin is money that cannot be inflated or controlled by any state. By continuing to use their money, you're perpetuating the killing. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available to you now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at Bitcoin.com. It's Bitcoin.com. The three most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share one episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. You likely buy all kinds of things online. Amazon is the largest online retailer. You can get what you need at the same prices with free Super Saver shipping by going to shop.freetalklive.com. Please do your online shopping at shop.freetalklive.com.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's